In the beginning of the drama, we are shown a therapist's office. Our male lead, whose name is Chin-E, is sitting across from his therapist. He tells him that from their previous session, he could sense how difficult it has been for him to talk about a certain painful period of his life. He says he understands he must have felt lost and alone back then, and gently encourages him that painful memories are like a heavy fog wrapped around a person, keeping them from moving forward. Today, if he has the courage, they can try together to get a little closer to that memory. He reassures him that he doesn't need to rush to tell the whole story at once, that they can start with whatever feeling or image comes to him first. He tells him to breathe, that this part of his life is over now and the past cannot torture him anymore, and that he can think of his family, his friends, and the person he wants to see the most. Chin-E closes his eyes, and the story begins to drift back in time. The scene shifts, and we find our female lead, Miso, who has just returned to her hometown after a long time away. As soon as she steps off, several pedicab drivers compete loudly for her attention, all asking where she's headed and trying to offer her discounted fare. Eventually, she gets into one pedicab, and the driver, a young man, keeps looking at her, saying she looks familiar, and she says her name out loud, Miso. It turns out this driver is an old schoolmate from her hometown. He is amazed at how much she has changed since high school, saying she looks like she stepped out of a magazine now, no longer like someone from their small town. And he simply asks whether she's going toward her old home or a hotel. She said that home. In the next scene, we see Chin-E. In a local gambling den, a man comes to him and says that some young troublemakers are causing a scene, possibly sent by a rival named Fat Dragon to stir up trouble. They are also harassing a young schoolgirl at the table. Just then, Chin-E walks in, clearly a man who commands respect and fear in this world. He does not tolerate men bullying a young girl, and it becomes obvious this is something deeply personal to him, connected to painful memories of his own past when he too could not stand seeing a schoolgirl get mistreated. He deals with the thugs firmly, beating down the one who tries to talk back, warning him that next time he should not talk business on someone else's behalf without wiping his own mouth first, a sharp reminder not to act as if he speaks for someone more powerful. After scaring the group off, he checks on the young girl who is being harassed, making sure she is safe, and has his man Yong escort her home. In the next scene, Miso thanks her old classmate driver for the ride and insists on paying, though he refuses to take her money, saying an old friend returning after all this time deserves at least a free ride, and that she should reach out anytime she needs something. As she gets out, he asks meaningfully whether Chin-E knows that she is back this time, hinting that her return is something significant, tied to a shared history the two of them have with Chin-E. In the next scene, Chin-E received a call from a wealthy entrepreneur named Mr. Zhang. He eagerly asks Chin-E to join him for a game of snooker, telling him he has brought along a former professional snooker player as well, hoping Chin-E will make him look good in front of this friend. Chin-E said that he hasn't played in years, but Mr. Zhang insists this isn't flattery, but genuine admiration, since even when Chin-E plays casually, no one can beat him. Other members of the snooker club recognize Mr. Zhang as a well-known entrepreneur from Tang City, surprised that he and Chin-E seem to know each other so well, casually calling and asking him for a game despite having been turned down many times before. This exchange reveals that Chin-E has built quite a reputation, being sought after even by wealthy businessmen, and that he has an almost legendary skill at billiard. After that, Chin-E comes out from the club and one member asks the other what the name of the boss is. He said Rabbit. In the next scene, we see Miso is at home and seeing her home, and she sees a painting from his childhood, and with this, the story dives deep into flashback, taking us back to when Chin-E and Miso were both children. We see a much younger Miso arrive carrying a gift she made herself. She excitedly tells her father and the family that this is her gift for both her father and for Chin-E, revealing a drawing she made. The drawing shows all four of them together, looking happy, symbolizing her hope that she, her mother, Chin-E, and his father can become one big happy family. The father, whom she calls Mr. Wu, is delighted with the drawing and says he will put it somewhere everyone can see it. This flashback reveals that Miso's mother has remarried Chin-Yi's father, and Miso has now become Chin-Yi's new stepsister, moving into his household along with her mother from another city, Jiang City, in hopes of building a new life together in Tang City. However, the warm welcome does not extend to young Chin-yi, who is cold and resistant to this new arrangement from the very start. He confronts the new stepmother figure and states firmly that all of this happy family performance is fake, asking if she is not tired of playing house, and coldly tells her to stay away from him for the rest of her life. He clearly feels that his father's remarriage and this step-family arrangement are an intrusion, and he refuses to accept them as real family, setting up years of tension between him and Miso that will echo through their childhood. In the next scene, Chin-yi comes back home. He sees the door is already open. He comes in. Then Miso asks him if he came back. Then she comes in and said, "I had made soup, come." After that, both of them sit for eating soup. Then Chin-yi asks her bluntly why she came back home. She says, "Does she need a reason for coming into the house?" He asks, "Is it your home?" She says, "I lived in this house more than 10 years. How is it not my house?" The story flashes further back to the moment Miso and her mother first traveled from Jiang City to Teng City by long-distance bus, showing the difficulties of the journey and ticket check. Once they arrive in Teng City, some local children try to bully young Miso on the street, thinking she looks like she comes from a rich family and might be an easy target, but Chin-yi, though cold toward her at home, intervenes to protect her from these strangers on the street without yet knowing this stranger is about to become his new stepsister, showing the same protective instinct he later carries into adulthood. At the new house, Mr. Chin warmly welcomes them, showing Miso and her mother the room she will share with Chin-yi for now, promising to rent the room next door soon so mother and daughter can move there. He has bought her a brand new pillow and quilt, arranged a good spot near the light for her to do homework, and prepared a whole table of delicious food to welcome them, including a special cushion carp congee her mother offers to help cook, since it is her specialty. This immediately paints Mr. Chin as warm and welcoming, eager for his new family to feel at home, in stark contrast to the cold reception his own son gives them. In the next scene, young Chin-yi finally returns home and sees his father's new family waiting for him. His father asks him to properly greet his new stepmother and his new stepsister, Miso. Although Chin-yi doesn't seem happy about the situation, he reluctantly greets them. Just then, Miso brings out a drawing she made as a welcome gift. The picture shows all four of them living together as one happy family. Chin-yi's father and stepmother are touched by the thoughtful gift, but Chin-yi remains quiet and distant. After that, Chin-yi's father happily praises him for bringing home some fruit. However, Miso quietly tells her mother that Chin-yi only had the money to buy the fruit because he sold gifts that didn't belong to him, hinting that Chin-yi has already started walking down a troubled path. Instead of scolding Miso, her mother praises her for handling the situation wisely. She tells Miso that she did a smart thing and happily mentions that Mr. Chin really liked the drawing. It becomes clear that Miso and her mother are carefully trying to build a good relationship with Chin-yi's father because they know their place in this new family is still uncertain. That night, as young Miso sleeps over for the first time in Chin-yi's room, her mother reminds her that they must put up with hardship for now, promising that once she finds a job, the two of them will finally be settled and secure. Miso innocently asks her mother if she is going to marry Mr. Chin, and her mother brushes off the question, telling her she will understand when she grows up that people do not need to be married to become a family, though Miso presses further, asking what people do need then. A question left hanging as her mother ushers her to bed. That night, Chin-yi draws a strict boundary line in their shared room, warning Miso that if she crosses it, he will hit her, reflecting his continued resistance to sharing his space and his life with her. At night, Chin-yi silently turns the fan toward himself and goes to sleep, showing that he still doesn't care about Miso's comfort. Miso wakes up because of the heat, but instead of arguing or complaining, she quietly gets up, opens the window, and goes back to sleep. As time passes, the tension between the two children continues to grow. One day, at a local shop, it is revealed that Chin-yi had secretly sold the cigarettes he received as gifts for money. Ironically, his father later ends up buying the same brand of cigarettes from the shop, making the shopkeepers laugh and joke that they are trading the same cigarettes back and forth. Wanting to prove that she is helpful and loyal to the family, Miso tells Chin-yi's father that Chin-yi also gave away the cigarettes and liquor that had been given to him as gift. After hearing this, Chin-yi's father becomes angry and confronts him. He tells Chin-yi that when a person makes a mistake, they must accept the consequences. He then orders him to apologize to Miso. However, Chin-yi stubbornly refuses. He angrily says that his mother only has him, and he doesn't have a sister. He coldly declares that Miso and her mother are just outsiders living in his house and are not his real family. His harsh words make the atmosphere even more tense. Furious at Chin-yi's attitude, his father punishes him by by forcing him to kneel for an entire hour. This moment shows just how strict his father is and how much resentment and conflict already exist within their newly blended family. After that, Mr. Chen tries to calm the situation and bring peace to the family. As a way of apologizing to Miso, he decides to move the guanyin statue, which belongs to Chin-Yi's mother, to another room because Chin-Yi seems to dislike it. However, the situation quickly gets out of control. Chin-Yi and Miso start arguing over the statue, and both of them try to take it. The adults rush in to stop them and try to calm the children down. But during the struggle, the guanyin statue accidentally falls to the ground and breaks into pieces. The broken statue becomes a powerful symbol of the deep conflict and unresolved emotions between Chin-Yi and Miso, showing that the wounds between their two families are only growing deeper. Later that night, Miso quietly places a candy on Chin-Yi's bed as a small gesture of kindness, hoping to become friends with him. However, Chin-Yi coldly picks it up and throws it away. The next morning, when Chin-Yi wakes up, he notices that Miso is nowhere to be seen, and his statue is also not there. He goes outside to find her. After the statue is broken, Miso goes to the riverside alone. She hopes to collect some wet clay so she can repair the broken guanyin statue. While she is there, Chin-Yi arrives. The two begin arguing over the broken statue, and during the struggle, Chin-Yi pushes Miso into the river. Frightened, Miso cries out for help as she struggles to stay above the water. Instead of helping her, Chin-Yi walks away and leaves her behind. Later, Miso tearfully tells her mother what happened. Hurt and confused, she asks why she is always the one who has to give in to Chin-Yi. She wonders why he continues to treat her like an enemy instead of accepting her as part of the family. Hearing this breaks her mother's heart. She apologizes to Miso for making her go through so much pain. However, she also explains that they still depend on Mr. Chen's support. She tells Miso that Mr. Chen can help her get a job at the local power supply bureau, and because they have nowhere else to go and cannot return to Jiang City, they must do everything they can to keep peace in their new home. Chin-Yi also hears all this talking, and the scene shows us Chin-Yi return and save Miso, pulling her out of the water. In the next scene, Miso comes back to the room, and Chin-Yi says to her, "You can never be my sister, and your mother can never be my mother. From the moment you broke my statue, we became enemies." Then Miso says, "You can say whatever you want, but we're staying here." One day, the older Miso comes to do billiards to see him. As soon as she arrives, the people there start teasing Chin-Yi, saying that someone has come to visit him. However, Chin-Yi quickly denies it and says that he barely knows her, keeping the same cold attitude he has always had toward Miso, even though they have lived under the same roof for years. Miso has actually come to give him the weekly living expenses that Mr. Chen sent for him. It is revealed that Chin-Yi is now living in a school dormitory instead of staying at home. Even during this simple exchange, the tension between them is obvious. Chin-Yi refuses to let Miso think that he is living off her money. He also suspects that Miso and her mother are secretly trying to push him out of the family. Angrily, he tells her that she has no right to force him out of his own home. In the next scene, we see Chin-Yi return home by climbing through the window instead of using the front door. Miso opens the window and asks why he comes in through the window. Chin-Yi coldly replies that this is his house and that it is none of her business how he enters. When he looks around, he realizes that his bed has been moved and Miso is now comfortably lying on it. Confused, he asks why she is using his bed. Miso reminds him that he was the one who said he didn't want to live with her anymore, so she simply made herself comfortable while he was away. Annoyed, Chin-Yi throws Miso's school bag out the window. She says, "I didn't have any regret." After he leaves, she thinks he is still childish. At Tang City Middle High School, the homeroom teacher announces the long-awaited autumn class trip this year to Joyland Amusement Park, with grades 7 through 9 all going together by school bus. Students are told to form their own groups of 5, choose a leader, and pay the 20 yuan trip fee. On the day of the trip, the head teacher gives the class a safety briefing, reminding everyone to follow instructions and gather back at 3 in the afternoon. At the amusement park, Chin-Yi tries to look after Miso, telling her he'll take good care of her today, but she pulls away, insisting she can walk on her own, clearly still keeping her guard up around him even amid a fun school outing. The two end up on the bumper cars together, and what starts as an innocent ride quickly turns into an all-out spectacle, with their classmates cheering wildly from the sideline, shouting at Chin-Yi to ram her, hit her from the side, and not let up, while Miso tries to dodge him around the ring. The chaos escalates until something clearly goes wrong. The ride operator or their friends realize something is off, calling out with real alarm asking if Chun-Yi is okay, and in the confusion Miso bolts and runs off in a panic while friends shout for her to come back. After that, the story shifts to a much more emotional scene at home. Chun-Yi's father angrily confronts him and asks if he has forgotten who is in charge of the family. He firmly tells Chun-Yi that he is not allowed to attend the prestigious #1 high school. According to him, as long as he is the one raising and supporting Chun-Yi, his son must obey every decision he makes. He insists that everything he is doing is for Chun-Yi's own future and that this is the best path for him. Unable to hold back his emotions any longer, in a moment of anger, he tells his son that he is not even sure whether he is his real father. Miso also hears this. He tells Chun-Yi to remember that he never betrayed Chun-Yi's mother. Instead, he claims that she was the one who betrayed him. He insists that all of his strict rules and harsh decisions are only meant to protect Chun-Yi and give him a better future. In the next scene, Miso arrives home and politely greets Chun-Yi's father by calling him uncle. He casually asks her to go downstairs to buy him a pack of cigarettes and tells her to keep the remaining chain. After Miso leaves, Chun-Yi's father calls Chun-Yi over. At the same time, he tells Miso to spread a blanket on the floor. This small detail makes it clear that he is preparing to punish Chun-Yi. Miso quietly goes to Chun-Yi with a bowl of food that she made for him. Gently, she tells him to eat carefully because it is still hot. Chun-Yi looks at her with surprise and admits that he thought she was afraid of him. Miso calmly replies that being afraid of someone is one thing, but watching that person suffer is something completely different. Even though she is scared of him, she couldn't just leave him alone after what happened. Before leaving, Miso quietly tells Chun-Yi that she will not bother him anymore. She also reassures him that she didn't see anything that happened earlier, silently promising to keep his father's abuse a secret and protect his dignity. Touched by her kindness, Chun-Yi quietly gives her a small item in return as a way of thanking her. It is a simple gesture, but it marks the first genuine moment of understanding between the two of them, hinting that beneath all their arguments and resentment, a real bond is slowly beginning to grow. After that, the story jumps forward a few more years. We learn that Miso has become one of the top students at the prestigious #1 high school. Thanks to her hard work, she is following a bright academic path. Meanwhile, Chun-Yi's life has taken a completely different direction. Because his father never allowed him to attend #1 high school, he is forced to study at a vocational school instead. After that, the story shifts to a private room at the Baiwa restaurant, where Chun-Yi's father is hosting a business dinner. He warmly welcomes several important guests, including Mr. Lee, and they exchange drinks while discussing business. From their conversation, it becomes clear that Chun-Yi's father has become a successful businessman who is involved in housing and property projects in Ting City. In the next scene, Miso and her mother go shopping for her 16th birthday. At the jewelry store, her mother asks the shopkeeper to show them a birthday gift. According to local tradition, when a girl turns 16, she is given a lucky gold or jade bracelet to bring her safety and good fortune. Her mother tells Miso to choose whichever bracelet she likes. However, before they can finish shopping, Miso's mother receives an urgent phone call about work. She has no choice but to leave immediately and tells Miso to go home by herself, leaving her alone on her birthday. After returning home, Miso quietly hides her birthday cake because she doesn't want Chun-Yi to know she is celebrating by herself. Meanwhile, Chun-Yi is at a hotel where he sees his father and Miso's mother busy with a business dinner. At that moment, he realizes that it is Miso's birthday and that she has been left home alone. Chun-Yi immediately returns home. Later that night, Miso lights the candles on her birthday cake and closes her eyes to make a wish. When she opens them, she is surprised to find Chun-Yi standing beside her. She asks when he came back, and Chun-Yi smiles and tells her that he arrived while she was making her birthday wish. He then asks if she is free the following evening and tells her to stay home instead of going anywhere. Before leaving, he quietly wishes her a happy 16th birthday, showing that his feelings toward Miso have slowly begun to change. And then he leaves. After that, Miso smiles. Later that night, Miso's mother comes home from what she describes as an unavoidable business dinner, clearly having had a bit to drink, and apologizes for not celebrating Miso's birthday properly that day, asking if she's upset with her. She checks whether Chin-E is home yet, relieved to hear he's out at a party, since it means she won't have to deal with him picking a fight with her tonight, showing the ongoing coldness between her and Chin-E even as Miso and Chin-Ye's own relationship has been softening. Her mother tells her she's working incredibly hard to earn enough money for the two of them so they can finally escape the humiliation of living under someone else's roof, dependent on the Chin family's charity, and proudly announces she has become the top performer, a so-called diamond-level seller, at her new company. She excitedly tells Miso that the company, called Green Life. Meanwhile, the story shifts to Do Billiards, where the older Chin-E is playing pool with one of his close friends. During their conversation, his friend tries to convince him to leave Tang City and move to Shin City. He tells Chin-E that the foreign trade business there is growing fast and that it is the perfect place to make a lot of money. However, Chin-E refuses the offer. He says that all of his friends are in Tang City and that he has no intention of leaving. His friend is surprised and asks if Chin-E has really decided to quit the dock business. He also jokes that, from now on, everyone might have to rely on Officer Chin, revealing that Chin-E is preparing for the upcoming police academy recruitment exam. Instead of continuing his old life, he wants to become a police officer and build an honest future. In the next scene, we see the Green Life Company holding its annual dealer conference on a cruise ship. Everyone is cheering as the company promises that dealers can earn over 1 million yuan within 3 years. Meanwhile, Miso's mother calls Miso in front of her colleague. She proudly says that her daughter is very intelligent and asks her to recite the value of pi to everyone, trying to prove that the company's health product improves memory. However, Miso is not feeling well. She starts reciting, but suddenly stops halfway. Seeing this, her mother quickly tells everyone that Miso is just nervous and asks them to continue the celebration. In the next scene, we see that Chin-E is also on the cruise ship to complete his final delivery job. While looking around, he notices a man harassing Miso, so he immediately rushes inside to help her. Just then, the celebration suddenly turns into chaos. A group of armed men storms onto the cruise ship, smashing everything and causing panic among the passengers. During the confusion, Miso's mother desperately tries to get back to her daughter. She keeps shouting that she cannot leave without Miso, but she is forced onto a lifeboat while Miso is left behind, calling out for her mother. As the situation becomes more dangerous, Chin-E reaches Miso, grabs her hand, and tells her to hold on tightly. He then jumps into the water with her, saving her from the disaster. After escaping the chaos, Chin-E and Miso finally reach a safe place. Chin-E asks why she isn't calling her mother. Miso quietly replies that there is no need because her mother is not the type to worry about her anyway. Later that night, Chin-E brings Miso her coat. Instead of taking her home right away, she said that she doesn't want to go back home because it's too noisy. He gently asks what she wants to do, realizing that she doesn't want to go back yet. Miso says that she is hungry, so the two of them walk through the night market together. They buy some street food, taste fruit from a vendor, and later stop to eat Miso's favorite seaweed and mung bean dessert soup, even though it is already late at night. After that, Chin-E drops her home. After that, the story flashes back to an earlier moment, revealing a heated argument between Chen-Yi's father and Miso's mother. Worried because she cannot contact Miso, Miso's mother angrily asks how he can sit there reading while her daughter is missing. Instead of answering her, Chen-Yi's father demands to know who the man is that she has been meeting, accusing her of being involved with someone else. Furious, Miso's mother replies that they were never legally married, so he has no right to question her. She tells him that even if she were engaged to another man, it would be none of his business. Chen-Yi's father angrily reminds her that he is the one who has been raising Miso all these years. He says that if she no longer wants to stay with him, then she should take her daughter and leave the house. Miso's mother immediately reminds him that he was the one who begged her to bring Miso with her after his wife passed away because he wanted a complete family again. She accuses him of pretending to be a kind and respectable man while treating her and her daughter as if they are no longer needed. In the flashback, Miso is standing outside the school with her clothes all messy. Then a lady comes and gives her a coat. Just then, her mother arrives and tells her, "I'm taking you to your own house in Tang City." The scene then cuts to the present, where Chen-Yi comes in and takes her out of the house. After that, Both are sitting on the roof. Chin-yi gets some food for her. Miso is clearly upset and trying to hold back tears. Chin-yi notices that she is not okay and gently tells her that she does not have to pretend everything is fine. If she feels wrong, she should let herself cry, but she must remember why she cried today instead of acting as if nothing happened a few days later. He tells her to stop waiting for her mother to realize she let her down, because not all parents know how to love their children properly. If Miso keeps looking to her mother for a place to belong, she will spend her whole life seeing only a small part of happiness, like someone who can only see a few stars in the sky. And if her mother ever decides she no longer wants her around, even those few stars will disappear. Miso is surprised by how mature and blunt his words sound, saying it does not feel like something he would normally say. In a quietly heartbreaking moment, she repeats the words she imagines he might one day say to her, that he is used to being alone, this is his home, and she is not allowed to stay. Chin-yi denies it. Then he asks a question about Miso's future, as she admits she has no idea where she would go if her mother and Uncle Chin ever separated, leaving her unsure about what kind of future she could have. She then reveals that she has already applied to the police academy. Chin-yi encourages her not to base her future or sense of security on anyone else, reminding her that if she wants to build a better life, she has to rely on herself. Later, the mood becomes lighter as he takes her on a different route home and encourages her to climb to a high spot. Although nervous at first, Miso succeeds with his guidance, and he jokingly tells her she is a natural. And then he leaves. The scene then shifts to Chin-yi at school, where he completes a timed fitness test while his classmates cheer him on. After finishing with an excellent result, everyone congratulates him, making it clear that he is also preparing for the police academy, hinting that both he and Miso may be working toward the same dream. In the middle of this celebration, some girls from another school notice Miso standing near Chin-yi and get suspicious. They confront her, accusing her of being one of those girls from a rival school who is always throwing herself at Chin-yi, and warn her that if she likes him, she should just be upfront about it. To defuse the situation, Miso tells them that she is actually his sister. This surprises everyone, and two of them walk off together. And then one of her school classmates comes and tells Miso secondhand that she has apparently become well known at Chin-yi's school for claiming to be his sister, and that the actual girls who like him are furious about it. When she brings this up with Chin-yi directly, he teases her lightly, pointing out that at least being his sister makes her look good by association, which annoys her further. At the restaurant, Chin-yi and Miso are eating a meal, and some girls come and want to share a table with the group, but as more people crowd around, more girls, one after another, all claim in turn to be his sister as well, each one saying it with total confidence, until the sheer number of so-called sisters becomes a running joke, with people counting them out loud in disbelief, wondering exactly how many sisters this one boy can possibly have. Miso, sitting nearby, is asked at one point if she is also one of the sisters, and this time she is bluntly and publicly corrected, told directly that she is not his sister after all, which visibly stings, since only a moment earlier she had claimed exactly that identity herself as a joke or shield, and now hearing it denied out loud in front of everyone lands differently. Later that night, Miso is studying alone in her room when Chin-yi quietly climbs in through the window and brings her a meal, making sure she does not skip dinner while studying. As they talk, she asks him about his upcoming police academy fitness test. Before he leaves, Miso sincerely wishes him good luck for the exam, and Chin-yi quietly heads back home through the window. And then the scene shifts into the day of Chin-yi's official retest for police academy admission. While Miso is in her own classroom taking an exam, she is suddenly interrupted by someone rushing in to tell her that something has happened to Chin-yi. Today is supposed to be his retest day, and he had gone home briefly to grab his identity document, but never came back. His friend went to check on him, but got no answer at his door, and with the building locksmith unavailable, there was no way to get inside. So this friend had no choice but to come find Miso for help. Miso immediately drops everything, telling her teacher she will worry about her own class situation later, and rushes off with him toward Chin-yi's home. At the home, both Miso and Chin-yi's friend are busy finding Chin-yi. At the same time, Chin-yi's father comes home. Miso tries to stop him. At the same time, Chin-yi's friend finally finds him and gives him a knife to break the lock. And finally, before his father reaches him, he breaks the lock and leaves from there. At the test site, meanwhile, another friend, Young is left keeping watch, trying to buy time, but the officials in charge insist they are already running late and cannot bend the rules any further. When Chin-Yi finally does return, and his friend only apologizes helplessly to him, saying they tried to stall for him but could not stop the process from moving on, leaving Chin-Yi visibly frustrated and asking why they could not have held on just a bit longer for him. That evening, back at home, an ordinary dinner scene turns into something far more painful. Chin-Yi's father figure notices Chin-Yi looking at or holding an envelope or document related to a forensic physical evidence examination fee under Chin-Yi's own name and demands to know why Chin-Yi has been going through his thing. Chin-Yi tells him that his father has no right to control him, that only his mother had that right, but she is dead now, and this family has nothing to do with him anymore. Chin-Yi's father, hurt and furious, reminds him that he raised him like his own son and even secured him a guaranteed job at the Power Bureau after graduation, calling in countless favors for an opportunity many people would envy. Chin-Yi fires back that he has always been terrified of electricity, yet his father continues to force that future on him. He accuses him of trying to control his life out of his own insecurities and of constantly speaking badly about his late mother. Overwhelmed with frustration, Chin-Yi asks when his father will finally let him make his own choices, reminding him that he already lost the chance to choose his own high school. He bitterly questions whether he plans to destroy this opportunity as well before declaring that he never wants to become someone like him. Later, Miso is pulled out of class again, this time told something has happened at her own home and that she needs to go back immediately. On her way, she passes through a chaotic public scene, a crowd of angry people protesting outside what appears to be the offices of Green Life, the very company connected to Miso's mother, shouting that the company has cheated them out of their hard-earned money, some of them showing physical injuries or holding up cash that represents their life-saving, accusing the company of running a scam, possibly connected to fraudulent health supplement. Rumors swirl in the crowd that everyone associated with Green Life will likely be arrested, since so many people in the area have lost their savings to this scheme, including, tragically, someone's entire college fund. The driver even turns and asks Miso directly if someone in her family was scammed too, a question loaded with irony given her own mother's involvement in the very company being condemned. Arriving at the hospital instead of her own home, Miso finds her mother and learns the real reason she was called back. Chin-Yi's father has suffered a brain hemorrhage and has not woken up. Her mother explains that Chin-Yi had a huge fight with his father, said he wanted to cut ties with him completely, which upset him so much that he went out drinking in anger. When he came back home, the hallway lights were out due to a power failure, and he took a bad fall in the dark, hitting the back of his head on the floor, losing consciousness immediately and being rushed straight to the ICU. And at the same time, her mother, stressed about the cost of 3,000 yuan a day, complains bitterly that they cannot possibly afford this. After that, Miso tells her mother to go and arrange the money, saying she will stay here. Later, Miso's mother returns home looking for the checkbook, but finds nothing because Chin-Yi's father has already hidden it. The next day, she calls Miso and tells her to go to the Power Bureau to sort out Chin-Li Bin's medical insurance. Although Miso points out that she and Chin-Li Bin are not married, her mother dismisses the concern and tells her to simply claim to be Chin-Yi, refusing to pay any of the medical expenses herself. At the insurance office, Miso finds herself in an awkward and humiliating situation as the staff and people waiting in line pressure her to sign documents under false pretenses while she hesitates over what to do. And then she leaves without signing and checks her bank balance, which is just 250 yuan. Eventually, Chin-Yi does arrive at the hospital, greeted with a mix of relief and reproach. Miso's mother is told his father has been lying unconscious for 3 days, urged not to let any grudge come between them no matter what has happened, since he is still his father. He is reminded of the mounting cost of treatment and told he needs to start seriously thinking about how to handle this responsibility. Chin-Yi, hurt and defensive, points out sharply that it feels strange for anyone to suddenly place so much trust and expectation in him now, when he is still just a student with no real income of his own, questioning where they expect him to find that kind of money. She reminds him again that she and his father were never officially married, essentially absolving herself of any financial duty, and sarcastically brings up an old promise he apparently once made to take care of his father forever, which Chin-yi bitterly rejects, snapping that his father is not even dead yet, as if to say it is far too soon to already be discussing what happens after his death. In the next scene, Miso brings Chin-yi mints instead of the cigarettes he had asked for, gently teasing that mints can help keep him awake too during this long, sleepless vigil. Sitting together, keeping their distance at first, Chin-yi is asked why he is staying so far away, told he is not going to be eaten. Slowly, he opens up about where he has actually been staying during the days he disappeared, revealing he has secretly built a small sleeping space in an empty warehouse behind a friend's repair shop, someplace he can crash anytime, hinting that this has been a long-standing survival strategy of his, not something new, suggesting he has quietly been enduring a difficult, half-homeless existence for years, even while still attending vocational school. Just as the conversation turns toward asking what happened on the day everything fell apart between him and his father. And then, suddenly, his father's condition becomes more critical. A doctor soon delivers devastating news to the family. Lee Bin is now clinically brain dead. His heart is technically still beating, but he can no longer breathe on his own, and even if treatment continues, it will only maintain his most basic vital functions, with no real chance he will ever regain consciousness again. The doctor stresses that continued treatment will be extremely costly, and that a decision needs to be made quickly, given how urgent the situation now is. Then the doctor gives him an official authorization document, requiring a signature from the designated decision maker, and he sees Chin-yi's own name written there as that authorizing party, placing the terrible weight of this decision squarely on his young shoulders. Later, Miso's mother shocks Chin-yi with her calmness, assuring him that he will not be a burden to them. She reveals that she and two partners have been running a pool hall business and that, since Lee Bin is unlikely to survive, she plans to use his remaining savings to cover the money they still need. She openly admits how heartless her words sound, but says she no longer cares. Aware that people have been trying to get hold of Lee Bin's bankbook and that Chin-yi has been avoiding certain phone calls, she makes it clear that her only concern now is the insurance payout and whatever inheritance remains. In return, she offers to let Chin-yi and his family stay in the house until he reaches adulthood, presenting the arrangement as a practical deal and suggesting that, even if they are no longer truly family, they can at least remain friends. In the next scene, we are shown that Chin-yi's father passed away, and we are shown the funeral of his father. At Chin-yi's father's graveyard, Miso's mother tells her, "It's raining. Let's go back first and let Yi stay with his dad for a while." But she ignores her and doesn't want to leave. Then her mother leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Chin-yi at his billiard hall, where a man named Mr. Du comes to talk business with him. Mr. Du tells him that he has heard Chin-yi wants to transfer the billiard hall, and Chin-yi explains that many small business owners in the city are quietly selling off their shops because of some larger financial trouble going on in the city, connected to an investment company called Louis. Mr. Du warns him that at such a young age, this decision to sell everything is not something to take lightly, especially when so much money is involved. Chin-yi still goes ahead and tells his friend he agrees to hand over the whole shop along with 6 months of free rent, which shows just how badly he needs the money quickly. Meanwhile, in a completely different part of the city, Miso's peaceful life is suddenly disturbed. Her mother tells her that they cannot live in their house anymore, and that she needs to apply for boarding at her school, not just for a semester, but for a full year. Miso does not understand why this sudden decision is being made in the middle of the semester, but before she can ask more questions, debt collectors are already banging on the door of their home, shouting for someone named Mr. Wei to come out, and eventually revealing that Wei Mingjin has been hiding from people whose money she owes. At the same time, Chin-yi comes and tells the anti-debt collector that she can stay in his house. At night, Miso has a dream in which her mother leaves her, and she wakes up shouting, "Mom, Mom." Then Chin-yi comes and tells her she is sleeping in her room, and she asks him why he is back. He says, "Why can't I?" Then she says, "Why not? This is your home." She picks up her bag and starts leaving from his room, but he stops her. She says, "This is your home now. Your father passed away. You can take it." He says, "You don't have to keep taking my room. Come back and stay properly." But before letting her fully settle in, he warns her seriously that if anyone ever asks her whether she knows Wei Mingjin, she should not answer at all, and that if anything happens, she should come straight to him instead of trying to handle debt collectors on her own. In the next scene, Miso gets an urgent call from her mother at school, telling her to pack her bag immediately and reach the bus station in half an hour because Uncle Lee will pick her up and they can no longer stay in this city. Confused and scared, Miso goes along, but the moment she reaches the station, in the next scene we see Chin-ee in the loan office. He learns about the loan on his house, that his father already took out a huge amount of loan, and now he has to pay the amount. He asks how his father got a loan while he was in the ICU, but the officer says all the process is legitimate, and they tell him to sell his house to a third party. He says no way. Just then his friend comes and tells him that Miso's mother ran away, and they both go to find her. Chin-ee asks how he knows about this, and his friend says there is a huge crowd around the bank, that Lulai committed fraud. He says Wei Mingjin and her partner were actually running a huge fraud company. At the same time, they reach the school for Miso and find out that a man has forcefully put her into a car. Then Chin-ee comes and saves her, and then they both go to the bus station. In the chaos of the bus station, Chin-ee appears, trying to help Miso find her mother among the crowd. The two of them ask the station staff to make an announcement calling out Wei Mingjin's name, saying that her child is looking for her, but even after the announcement plays again and again, Wei Mingjin never comes forward because she is too scared of being caught by either the debt collectors or the police. Miso, heartbroken and confused, searches through each bus herself but doesn't find her, and then she asks Chin-ee why he seems to know more than he's telling her, and he insists that if he really knew where her mother had gone, he would have no reason to hide it from her. Soon after, the real disaster hits. Through a news broadcast, we learn that Wei Mingjin and her partner were actually running a huge fraud company, selling fake health products that were falsely advertised as being able to cure chronic illness and slow down aging, while forging health permits and quality inspection documents. The scale of the fraud is so massive that the police have already taken action against 12 main suspects and seized crores worth of money connected to the case, and the entire city is furious, wanting to tear Wei Mingjin apart the moment they find her. Miso goes to apply for a hostel room at her school, but the warden clearly tells her that hostel fees for a full year are needed up front, and when she admits she does not have enough money, she is forced to settle for just one semester instead, quietly asking if there are any work-study opportunities available so she can support herself. In class, at lunch break, all the students go to the canteen and ask her to join them for lunch, but she says she is not hungry since she doesn't have money. After the students leave, she eats a simple piece of bread. Then we see Chin-ee meet Mr. Du, and Mr. Du advises him to let go of that idea completely. When his friend suggests that Chin-ee should just mortgage the house left behind by his mother to solve his money problem, Chin-ee immediately refuses, saying that this house is the only thing his mother left him and he will never risk it, no matter how badly he needs cash. Then he gives him a gift and tells him this was his favorite thing, and now he is old, so it's his. At the auto repair shop, where Chin-ee has started working part-time alongside his construction job, the football gambling agent's business is stopped after a major tax evasion scandal in the city, and all gambling activity related to football matches has been forcefully shut down. After that, we see at the dump yard Chin-ee collecting 10 bottles, and just then he helps a mysterious injured man on the street, someone who seems to be running from trouble of his own. Two men come there and ask Chin-ee if he has seen a man there, and he clearly sends them in the wrong direction. The man offers him an expensive watch for the help, but he refuses. Even though the man is clearly not in a position to repay him right now, he tells Chin-ee that if he ever needs any help, he should come find him in District 7. Chin-ee doesn't answer him and leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Miso in her school, with her classmates discussing their scores and preparing to choose between science and art streams for the next semester, and the teacher announces the next exam for the following week. In the next scene, we see Chin-ee at the bank. He pays the installment and asks how much is left, and a lady tells him 23,000 yuan is left. At the same time, later at a bank, Miso tries to check her mother's account, and the staff informs her that the card has been frozen because it belongs to Wei Mingjin. The moment people around hear the name Wei Mingjin, the atmosphere turns hostile, and a group of angry victims surround Miso, blocking her way and shouting that she must know where her mother is hiding. Miso insists that she genuinely does not know anything, but the crowd does not believe her, calling her the daughter of a swindler and even the daughter of a murderer, since one of Wei Mingjin's victims apparently lost his life because of the financial ruin she caused. Some of the men try to force her phone away from her, insisting she must keep calling her mother until she picks up, while others begin roughly pulling her along, wanting to drag her to the police station. In the middle of this dangerous crowd, Miso narrowly escapes into oncoming traffic, and it is Chin-E who rushes forward, scolding her sharply. Are you crazy? Don't you see where you're going? Clearly terrified that she could have been badly hurt. Despite everything, Miso still tells the angry mob that she will personally pay back whatever amount her mother owes, little by little, every month. But the men mock her, saying that she is nothing special and that everyone is simply looking for someone to blame since Wei Mingjin has vanished with all the money. Miso firmly refuses to run from responsibility, telling them plainly, I am the one who will act as the sandbag now. I will repay what my mother owes. Next scene, we see Miso at the hostel eating simple bread when some girls come to her and she hides it. The girls ask her what she is doing there, and she says she is memorizing vocabulary. Then she leaves, and the girls say that even without her vocabulary book in hand, she claims she has already memorized everything, causing her friends to gently tease her and call her a poor girl. They also notice she clearly does not even own proper winter clothes. Then she goes to Chin-Yi's house through the window and takes her clothes. Just then Chin-Yi arrives with stitches, and he thinks she should be a thief. Just then she says she will only get her stuff, and he stops her by grabbing her bag. In the chaos, her bag opens and all the 10 bottles become visible, and then Chin-Yi realizes what she has to do for a living. After that, he goes to her school and gives a bag to the doorman and tells him to give it to Miso, telling her it is from her mother, and also leaves a note for her. Miso's teacher tells her about the bag, and she comes thinking her mother has come herself, but the doorman tells her a man left the bag for her. Then she reads a note written on it, "Thank you. Take care," and then she opens the bag and finds the clothes belonging to Chin-Yi. At the auto repair shop, we learn that Chin-Yi has started working part-time alongside his construction job. Meanwhile, Miso comes to Chin-Yi's shop and hands over a bag left with him, saying it actually belongs to Chin-Yi and had been mistakenly given to the wrong person. When Chin-Yi tries to give it back to her, she coldly refuses, saying she does not want anyone's charity, but Chin-Yi insists that if something has been given to her, she should simply take it and stop being so stubborn. His friend later reminds him gently that Miso had once rushed without a second thought to save him when Chin Li-bin had locked him inside a room, and that after everything she has done for him in the past, she deserves at least a little bit of understanding now. Especially since she has once again been left with nothing and thrown out of her own comfort. In a lively street market, we see Miso walking past food stalls selling roast chicken, rice noodles, congee, and fresh fruit, clearly struggling to afford even a simple meal, quietly telling a vendor to take back food she cannot pay for. Chin-Yi, watching from a distance, cannot help but confront her, asking bluntly how much money she even has left for food, and pointing out that she can barely feed herself yet still refuses help out of pure stubbornness. Miso snaps back that it has nothing to do with him and tells him to focus on his own studies instead of worrying about her. When Chin-Yi notices bruises on her, he immediately suspects that the debt collectors or bullies from before have hurt her again. Miso keeps insisting that it is none of his business and that she has her own way of handling things, but Chin-Yi argues back sharply that helping her once out of impulse does not guarantee he will always be there, and questions whether constantly running away is really her idea of having her own way of solving problems, to which she fires back that at least it is smarter than fighting people head-on and getting hurt for nothing. The situation escalates one night when Chin-Yi ends up in a physical fight, beating up a group of men who had clearly been harassing Miso, and the matter reaches the police station. During questioning, the injured men falsely accuse Miso herself of orchestrating an attack, shouting that she is the daughter of a swindler who deserves no sympathy, and one officer, clearly familiar with Chin-Yi from before, asks him directly about his connection to Miso. When pressed further, Miso herself finally explains to the police captain that her mother and Chin-Yi's father used to live together as a couple, and that now her mother has run away while his father has already passed away, showing just how tangled and painful their shared family history really is. The men mock her again for supposedly knowing how to spin a convincing story simply because she is a swindler's daughter, and even ask whether she knew in advance about Chin-Yi's plan to take revenge on them, to which she insists she was at school and had no idea at all. The police captain, seemingly an acquaintance of the family, tells her gently to stay calm and not argue further with the aggressive men. Later, in a softer moment away from the tension, the police captain is shown caring for someone close to the family, dropping her off at school. Both girls walk toward the school together, and the lady tells her to eat properly, take care of her health while adjusting to a new school, and even exchanges phone numbers with her so she can reach out whenever she needs anything. In the next scene, we see a police officer telling Chin-E that it's fortunate the other party agreed to settle today, since it won't damage his record. Otherwise, he wouldn't pass the background check for the police academy. Chin-E, completely calm, says it doesn't matter to him at all, since he's not taking the exam anyway. The officer asks if this is because of the Wei Mingjin case and clarifies that she was never legally his father's wife, so this shouldn't affect him. But Chin-E simply says it has nothing to do with him. The scene then shifts to school. In class, an announcement is made that the girls' dorm will undergo plumbing work, so boarding students will need to commute from home for the next 2 weeks. The teacher instructs everyone to head home right after self-study period ends, and tells boarding students to take their valuables with them so nothing is left behind in the dorm. The kids happily say yes, since many students are getting a chance to go home. In this same class, we see another student who stays seated late, and the teacher tells her to hurry home too. Miso's situation is different from the other students. In the next scene, she goes to Chin-Yi's house and stops outside. She sees Chin-Yi coming from the street, so she runs away and hides herself. Next, we move to an internet cafe hiring temp night shift workers, meals, and lodging included. Miso also starts working here as the new girl, since her dorm is closed and she has nowhere to stay. A customer harasses her, insisting on logging in without an ID card and behaving strangely, but Miso firmly refuses, saying login isn't possible without an ID. When the customer becomes too much, Chin-Yi's friend steps in, stops the man, and logs him in himself. In the morning, Chin-Yi's friend comes with food, and here he's learned that because of the dorm situation, Miso has been working nights at the internet cafe. The elder says maybe this is good for Miso, since it'll teach her independence, but it pains him to see Chin-E, who already works so many jobs, wanting to take on yet another responsibility. Still, Chin-E says, give her a key to the house, meaning he wants Miso to have a key so she can stay somewhere safe at night instead of the internet cafe. On a phone call, we learn the key has been given to Miso, though she didn't take it willingly. It had to be forced on her. Chin-E just says as long as she has it, that's fine, and ends the matter there. And then he goes home and cleans the house before Miso comes. In the next scene, when Miso is alone at the cafe at night, Chin-E follows her there. He asks why she's following him, and Miso replies that she wants to stay here of her own will. Afterward, there's a tense exchange between them where Miso angrily says, "You're the one who threw me out. Why are you following me now? What do you want?" Reminding him that Chin-E once said she wasn't his family. Chin-E apologizes and says he said that in anger, without any real intention behind it. Here comes an emotional moment where Chin-E assures her, "You are my family, and that house is your house too." Miso starts crying and Chin-E comforts her, and then both go to the house. After this, we see the two of them settling in at home. Miso puts away her things, and Chin-E tells her that her toothbrush and such are kept just as before, and to let him know if she needs anything. Chin-E tells himself, "I've grown up. I can take care of my family." When he goes in the kitchen, he opens the fridge and finds out there is nothing in the fridge to cook. Miso also comes in the kitchen to help. Chin-E stops her, telling her not to open the fridge, but she forcefully opens it. He then says they'll eat out of the house, but Miso opens her bag and gives him 2 boxes of noodles, and then the power goes out. Chin-E goes to check and realizes he forgot to pay the bill. This small domestic problem shows the everyday struggles of their life, how the two of them are managing on a limited income. Then comes a sweet scene where the two sit and eat by candlelight or in the dark, try to cook noodles, and share sausages. This scene shows their closeness and teamwork. The next day, Chin-E tells Miso where to pay the bills, electricity and water here, and for gas she'll need to get a card from the civic center, and they only accept cash. Miso insists she'll also contribute to the bill since she's using the utilities too. She mentions she's saved some money from the internet cafe and from selling scrap. Chin-E initially refuses, but Miso says she won't feel comfortable staying there if she doesn't contribute her share. She takes out her savings, only 50 yuan, and asks if it's enough for 2 people. Chin-E says it's plenty. There's also a barbershop scene where Chin-E gets a shave, after which the two go to a scrap/vegetable market where old items are sold cheaply on Wednesdays and Saturdays, including some food items at low prices. This shows how the two of them keep their expenses under control. Next is a significant sequence where Chin-E takes Miso to a small scrapyard at night, where they can find and sell copper wire, aluminum, motors, and similar items. He instructs her never to come to such places alone, since it isn't safe at night. They search together, and Chin-E tells her to walk carefully so she doesn't get hurt by nails or debris. At one point, Miso asks what would happen if something fell from above, And Chin-yi jokes, if something falls, it'll fall on me first, showing that he's always thinking about protecting her. Miso asks if he's come to such places before, and Chin-yi explains that during elementary and middle school, he often went hungry and came to places like this looking for food. And in a flashback, we are shown how difficult Chin-yi's past was. In the next scene, as Chin-yi and Miso are walking home together, a dog suddenly starts barking at them. Staying calm, Chin-yi tells Miso to slowly step back and not panic. However, the moment the dog moves closer, the two of them break into a run, laughing and rushing away together until they are safely out of its reach. After that, we are shown the scene 3 months later. A scrap dealer weighs their haul and pays them. The dealer tells them to come by often. Here Miso happily tells Chin-yi, "See, you need me," and suggests that since they've earned good money today, they should eat something nice. They go out to eat quickly, and calculate that they spent 12 yuan on food, leaving 118 yuan. Miso is surprised when Chin-yi wants to give her all the money and asks what will be left for him. In the next scene, Chin-yi's friends ask him how long he'll support her until her school is finished. Chin-yi tells them he will support her no matter that she is from another mother, and leaves from there for the dorm. The scene then shifts back to school, where Miso is taking her belongings out of the dorm. Chin-yi comes there to pick her up and take her home. Afterward, the teacher calls her over and tells her that her performance has improved this time. She ranked 42nd in the whole grade, which is encouraging. But then the teacher brings up Miso's family situation and asks if her mother told her that next semester's fees haven't been paid. Miso is shocked, since she had no idea. The teacher explains that her mother, before leaving, only paid for 1 semester's fees, saying the family circumstances were difficult, and the school overlooked it for a while since their policy is not to let any child leave school over unpaid fee. But now the issue has come up again. The teacher gives Miso a tuition fee receipt and tells her that, given her situation, the school has waived some of the fees, though not entirely, and that she needs to go home and discuss it with her family, since Miso can't pay this amount herself right now. Back home, Chin-yi happily says he's made fish today, Miso's favorite, and goes to clean it. But Miso's mood is down. She tells him the teacher talked about her mother. Chin-yi anxiously asks if there's any news about her mother, and Miso says no, but that it's related to her mother nonetheless. Chin-yi comforts her, saying she is who she is, and you are who you are, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Then he gets her busy with chores to distract her. Next comes a scene where we understand, through Chin-yi in the shop, that Miso's mother, Wei Mingjin, is going abroad and has already gotten involved with a new man in a very short time. People taunt about this, saying Wei Mingjin is a different kind of woman altogether. Don't underestimate her. After this, Chin-yi repeatedly tries calling a certain number, but each time gets a recorded message saying the subscriber has switched off their phone. Please try again later, likely Wei Mingjin's number. When Chin-yi tells her that if the number isn't going through she should stop calling, he reassures Miso not to worry about the fees, saying, I'll handle it. After this, there's a small domestic moment where Chin-yi takes Miso's dirty clothes to wash them. In the next scene, we see Chin-yi participating in some competitive game where an exhibition match is happening. People say, look how seriously he's taking this, and then he wins the game. Chin-yi demands directly since second place gets 8,000 yuan and first place gets 20,000 yuan, plus separate tips for each win. And a man mocks him, saying you have no backing. Even if you win the championship, your prize money will be forcibly taken from you. But Chin-yi doesn't lose courage and says determinedly, don't worry, whatever I get my hands on, I don't let go of. This sequence shows Chin-yi's hidden hard work and determination. He's trying every possible way to earn money for Miso's fees and household expenses. In the next scene, Miso is cooking in the kitchen when the power suddenly goes out. As she searches a drawer for a flashlight, she finds a rope and is reminded of the painful past when Chin-yi's father used it to tie her hands. She also remembers the night Chin-yi saw it during another power outage, leaving him deeply shaken by the memory. Realizing how much pain the rope carries, Miso quietly picks it up and throws it into the trash, hoping to leave those painful memories behind. In the next scene, as Chin-yi returns home, he is suddenly surrounded by a group of men demanding prize money from him. When he refuses, they brutally beat him. Just as the fight gets worse, another man arrives, causing the attackers to flee. It is then revealed that this is the same man Chin-E had previously helped by saving him from 2 other men, and he has now returned the favor by rescuing Chin-E. In the next scene, we see Miso has cooked a full meal, a high schooler who lives with him. The moment she sees his bruised face, she immediately asks what happened. Chin-E brushes it off, saying he made it playing ball, but Miso isn't fooled. She knows he doesn't get injuries like this from sport. He hands her money for her tuition and insists it's clean money, and then she puts medicine on his face. After some time passes and the story moves from 2002 to 2003, Chin-E returns home carrying a bowl of sweet soup. He calls out to Miso, but she refuses to open the door. Smiling, he teases that if she is not coming out, he will finish the sweet soup by himself. Hearing that, Miso quickly opens the door, and the two happily sit together, enjoying the sweet soup while sharing a light-hearted moment. Chin-E tells her that he's found a new job in a place called District 7, doing night shift, easy money, just watching monitors in an air-conditioned room. But Miso immediately panicked. District 7, we learn, is an infamously dangerous area, full of violence and chaos. She begs him not to go. Chin-E tries to reassure her and changes the subject. The next major turn comes when Miso starts feeling unwell at night, clutching her stomach. Chin-E panics and takes her to the hospital. The doctor initially diagnoses her with acute gastroenteritis, suspecting food poisoning, and advises her to eat only home-cooked food and take better care of her health, especially since, as the doctor points out, young women need extra attention to their bodies. Chin-E is told she needs an 4 overnight and someone to stay with her. Without hesitation, he says he's her only family here and that he'll take care of her. He sits by her 4 drip, worries over every wince of pain, insists on cooking fresh meals instead of letting any food go to waste, and even helps her review her biology notes on DNA replication while she rests with her eyes closed, reading her textbook aloud to her so she doesn't strain herself. The next morning, despite still recovering, Miso insists on going to her exam. At school, her homeroom teacher meets Chin-E and gently hints that Miso, being away from her real family and at a sensitive age, likely carries more emotional weight than other kids her age, and that he should check in on her more. Chin-E simply describes her as simple, someone who just wants to get into the honor class and win a scholarship, but we can tell there's more beneath the surface that even he doesn't fully see. In the next scene, we see Chin-E in District 7. He's welcomed loudly by rowdy coworkers, and it's shown that he's skilled and sharp, handling a tense confrontation with an angry, drunk customer with surprising composure, threatening violence with calm words instead of losing his temper. Bystanders recognize him from a pool hall and comment on how good he is, hinting that Chin-E has a reputation in this rough world that goes beyond just being muscle for hire. In the next scene, when Chin-E comes back home, he sees that Miso's stomach pain has returned, but this time it's much worse. Chin-E rushes her to the hospital again, and this time, the diagnosis is far more serious. A ruptured corpus luteum, a condition that can become life-threatening if she loses too much blood, potentially sending her into shock. Surgery is needed immediately. But here, the hospital hits a legal snag. They require a signature from a direct blood relative for the general anesthesia. Chin-E claims to be her brother, but when the doctor presses, asking if he's her biological brother, it's revealed that Chin-E and Miso are not blood-related siblings, despite living together as a family. Panicked and desperate to take responsibility anyway, Chin-E is saved by the timely arrival of a police officer who steps in to handle the paperwork, explaining that Miso's actual family can't be reached for special reasons. This police officer clearly already knows Chin-E and has some kind of history with him, hinting at Chin-E's past being tied to law enforcement in some way. After the surgery, we see a motherly woman referred to as one who brings Miso homemade congee and comforts Chin-E. It's revealed that one was actually listed as Miso's emergency contact because of her mother, and that she came the moment the hospital called. She gently helps Miso bathe herself. After her recovery, both come home when Chin-E leaves for his job. She stops him and asks him to come back soon. I am worried about you. He tells her he will come back soon. After that, she wakes up from sleep and sees Chin-E and his friend make food for her, and Chin-Ye's friend teases him by saying things about being single, joking that a friend's cousin is interested in him, and warning him not to let his life become a sad drama. By dragging around unspoken baggage, Chin-E brushes it off, insisting he's doing fine on his own. But the phrase baggage lingers meaningfully, especially paired with everything we've already seen of his hidden path. In the next scene, we see Miso in school. Her exam results finally arrive, and she has made it into the top science honor class. Her friends celebrate with her outside school, thrilled about her scholarship possibility. She happily gets out of school, and just then, Miso's mother suddenly reappears. She then takes her to a restaurant and tells her to eat something. Miso asks her why she left her, but she, trying to convince her to come live abroad with her, insists that a mother and daughter shouldn't hold on to grudges forever. But Miso is cold and distant, clearly hurt by years of abandonment, and questions her mother directly. If she knew leaving would hurt her, why did she still do it? Wei Mingjin tearfully explains that at the time, she couldn't take Miso along, and that she came back the moment she was financially able to. She even offers a new life abroad, complete with fancy shopping trips and promises to repay every cent she owes, especially to Chin-yi, if only Miso agrees to go with her. At home, Chin-yi made a hot pot dinner, and Miso comes home early, having gotten her final placement into the honor class confirmed. But instead of celebrating fully, she brings up her mother's visit, revealing that Wei Mingjin wants to pay him back and even offered to send her abroad. Chin-yi reacts with a mix of bitterness and pride, sarcastically asking if the repayment will come with interest, pointing out that her mother left her behind for years and should be covering far more than just a debt. Miso quietly reveals she already has a scholarship covering her need, closing off, at least for now, all the difficult, complicated feelings sitting just beneath the surface between a mother who wants to reclaim her daughter and the man who actually raised her. Chin-yi meets Miso's mom, who invites him to dinner, but he declines politely, clearly still guarded. Later, she essentially argues that if he really cares about her future, he should let her go with her mother instead of holding her back. But Chin-yi remains firm. Part of him is torn, but he clearly won't just hand Miso over without her own true willingness. In the next scene, we see Miso with her mom in the market shopping, and Chin-yi suddenly appears in the shopping mall. Miso's mother invites him for shopping, but he refuses and goes. In the next scene, she admits she knows that going abroad with her mother would objectively be the better choice, financially and practically, and that she wouldn't be a burden to Chin-yi anymore. But she confesses that the life they currently share, however difficult, is the one that makes her feel safe and grounded, and that her scholarship is arriving soon anyway. Chin-yi listens quietly, seemingly lost in his own thought, until she playfully breaks the tension by asking for egg pancakes the next morning. Next morning when she woke up, she saw her favorite breakfast on the table, which Chin-yi had made for her before leaving. We see him outside the bus station. Inside are Miso and her mother. Wei asks her about the laser, which they had hidden under the bed. But Miso does not understand anything. Just then Wei got a call. Some words were exchanged, after which she became tense. After that, she told Miso that her friend's son has come back from abroad, so she will have to go say hello to him. She asks her to wait a few more days, meaning she is canceling taking her along for now. While leaving, she tries to wrap it in sweet words that the sponsor will truly send her abroad and will also introduce her to her friend's children. Then they will all go abroad together and take care of each other. Miso said she does not want to go abroad. She is now in class 11. Her grades are also good. She will handle her education herself. She came here today only to see them off. She never had any intention of going with them. Anyway, this was nothing new for Wei. They have abandoned Miso every single time, but this time she thought maybe her mother would at least feel a little something. But even now they only care about themselves. She returns their bought items and leaves. When she came outside the station, her eyes fell on Chin-yi. He also became emotional seeing her. Miso came close and told him she is not going abroad. Chin-yi asked why. "You always wanted a home." He hugged her and said he found his family and home a long time ago. Chin-yi also became happy and took her home on his bike. Meanwhile, the coming-of-age bracelet ceremony arrived. Being the top student, Miso gave a motivational speech. All parents were present there, and she kept waiting for Chin-yi. All parents put bracelets on their children and wished them success. A teacher noticed no one from Miso's family came, so they started putting the bracelet on her. But at that very moment, Chin-yi arrived and put the bracelet on her with his own hands. The teacher told him Miso's grades are very good. She will get admission in the best universities, and according to them, finance would be right for her. But Chin-yi said that it requires dealing with many different kinds of people. That could be exhausting for Miso. Just then his eyes fell on a boy who was happily taking photos with Miso. He became a little jealous. He asked Miso who that boy is. She told him he is her class monitor. Chin-ee advised her to focus more on studies. Just then Miso's friend took her away from there. After that, Chin-ee called the monitor to him. Leo also knew that Chin-ee is Miso's brother, so he introduced himself very respectfully. Chin-ee advised him that this age is for studying and not for paying attention elsewhere. Lu understood his hint. He made it clear that he will not confess to Miso right now, nor will he let her studies be affected badly. They are both study partners for now. He also told him that he will go with Miso to Bay City for a math competition. He is well aware of how important it is to give a girl a better future. On the other hand, Chin-ee was not okay hearing that both of them will stay in Bay City. Meanwhile, in a nightclub, a new character was shown, Mr. Zai, who is like a brother to Mr. Zhang. When he heard a lot of praise about Chin-ee from Zhang, he offered him to work with him. Mr. Zhang clearly said his men are Zai's men. So from then on, he started working for Mr. Zai. In between, a rich, influential girl named Linda fell for Chin-ee the moment she saw him. At her welcome party, Zai made him drink very strong liquor, which made Zai jealous. He was busy trying to impress her so that she would agree to do business with him. But Linda grew up abroad. Her Chinese is not that good, so there could be a communication problem. Using this excuse, she was about to refuse the business, but Chin-ee said in English that he can translate small conversations. So Linda agreed. In the next scene, at school during self-study time, the electricity went out. Students got an excuse to not study. In between, a girl talked on a fun topic. She told that she read about first love and adolescence in the English Weekly. It explained how we can know if we are attracted to someone or not. They started talking about some tips. First, look into each other's eyes for a few seconds. If dopamine is generated, then there is attraction. Second, the desire to kiss them keeps coming. Hearing all this, Miso was feeling shy. Meanwhile, Linda, sitting in the car, curiously asked if Chin-ee has a girlfriend. He replied no, but there is a kid at his place whom he takes care of. Linda gave him an uncensored CD of the Titanic movie and said watching it will improve his English even more. Linda dropped him to high school, said bye to him with a big smile, and left. Miso was coming from the gate, and seeing this, she burned with jealousy. But Chin-ee had no idea at all. He took her to the market to feed her something, but her mood was off the entire way. While eating, Miso asked him about his work. Chin-ee told her not much. These days he is busy with social dinners. Just then he came close to Miso, but only to remove something from her face. But she had become very nervous and just kept rubbing the chopstick. Chin-ee also started asking her about Bay City, because he could not ask directly about Lu. Miso said everything was fine. If you think about it, the fire was burning equally on both sides. In the next scene, one day Chin-ee thought of putting on the cassette Linda gave him. He truly felt this would be good for improving speaking, so he told Miso to also learn something from it. She also started watching carefully and learning, but then a scene came that made both of them embarrassed. They started looking away from the TV. The atmosphere became completely awkward. Chin-ee told her he had never watched this kind of movie before, but Miso started acting confident and said she has watched this kind of movie many times. Chin-ee could not believe his ears. Then he also said with swagger that he had also watched such films once before. The scene became more and more romantic, so Chin-ee sent Miso to get water. She drank 2 to 3 glasses to calm herself, and when she came out, Chin-ee was already gone. Next day, the spring festival arrived. Miso came to the market with Chin-ee. She got busy looking at things, and Chin-ee's eyes fell on Leo, whose mother was scolding him because he likes Miso, but his mother does not approve of their relationship due to her family background. Just then Miso called out to Chin-ee and asked him to get a peach tree. The shopkeeper told him this plant is full of romance. As soon as you plant it, romance will start blooming in the house. Chin-ee said in irritation that Miso is not yet of age for all this. Just then the dragon dance started. Chin-ee heard that touching its head brings blessings. So when Miso's hand could not reach, he lifted her in his arms and she easily touched it. After that she came to the blessing prayer. Miso made a wish and threw a charm, but one came upside down and one right side up, which meant no answer, and she wanted a yes or no answer. Seeing her disappointed, Chin-ee tried, even though he does not believe in these things. But in his turn the answer also came as no. Miso asked what did he wish for, because his face had fallen seeing the no answer. But Chin-ee did not tell her. Then the ceremony started. All families held hands with their family members and closed their eyes to make a wish. Chin-ee only wants Miso's life to be peaceful and that they both keep moving forward together like this. At night, Miso came into Chin-ee's room and placed a charm under his pillow. This was for his safety. She told him even if he does not believe in all this, still for her sake, do not throw it away. Chin-ee said he was not going to throw it away, but from now on, they do not need to pray to any god because they are there for each other. Meanwhile, in the nightclub, Linda started taking a little too much interest in Chin-ee. She asked him to take a day off and show her around Tang City. Chin-ee said once the contract is signed, he will surely take her on a tour of Tang. Just then police officers came because someone had reported that fake liquor is sold here. Chin-ee cooperated with the police and let them take sample. The captain asked Chin-ee whose place is this, Zhang's or Zai. He told him Zai comes here only to talk business or have fun. When he was asked what work does he do here, he told that he helps his two bosses in their business. Just then the police's eyes fell on a room. They told Chin-ee to show them that too. After that, the captain, along with his officers, started thoroughly searching that room. They saw the manager's face turning pale, and there Chin-ee appeared very calm. But no evidence was found in that storage room. The drinks were also checked, but they were not fake, so they had to go back. Actually, Chin-ee had already found out about his subordinate's action. That is why he had already hidden the liquor, and while handing it over, told him to get out of there. Just then Linda asked Chin-ee to come with her for dinner, but he told her he wants to celebrate the spring festival with his family. He will take her somewhere nice after the holidays. After Linda left, the managers started telling Mr. Zai and Zheng that Chin-ee is trying to frame him, but both of them trusted Chin-ee far more than him. That is why none of his words were heard, and he was thrown out of the club. At home, Chin-ee and Miso started preparing for dinner. Just then the captain and Wen came with gifts for them. During dinner, we saw Chin-ee joking and having fun with Miso. In the meantime, Wen brought up the topic of Miso's college. Miso clearly said she will not go too far, but Chin-ee said bigger cities have bigger opportunity. This could be good for her future. The captain wants both of them to get opportunities because they both deserve it. He made sure he and Wen will always be there to back them up. Chin-ee said he will think about himself later. Miso also said she still has 6 months left for her entrance exam. Meanwhile, Wen shared happy news. She and the captain are getting married at the end of this year. Chin-ee and Miso congratulated them. Everyone celebrated by drinking. But Miso is only 17 years old, so she got orange juice. When the captain was alone with Chin-ee, he advised him that the further he stays from Mr. Zhang and Zai, the better it will be for him, because their business is never clean. Chin-ee somewhere also knows this, but he has no better job than the nightclub right now, so he also treads very carefully there. On the other hand, Wen and Miso were applying face masks. Miso asked why is Wen not going home on New Year. She told her there are complications and troubles at home. Once things are sorted, she will go. And anyway, she wants to keep Miso company during her entrance exam time. But Miso understood she is definitely hiding something. Wen just said she is still young. Even if she tells her, she will not understand. She should enjoy her happy life for now. Otherwise, after growing up, one always stays worried. Miso said sadly that if that is the case, then maybe she grew up a long time ago. To lighten the mood, When asked her about her first love, Miso told her there is no such story to tell. In the next scene, the captain tells Jin-ee that he has watched him and Miso grow up. They are like children to him. That is why, as elders, they want both of them to not face any kind of danger in the future. Jin-ee said Miso will live a normal life. She will go to a good university. He will not let any stain come on her. The captain told him to sometimes think like this for himself too. He also said that no matter what happens, he will always be there to protect them. The story is going on in the year 2005. Miso is in her senior year. One day Jin-ee waited outside her school. At that very moment, his eyes fell on a man who was secretly taking photos of Miso. Jin-ee caught him and got angry at him. A crowd gathered around. Miso, also seeing this, pulled him away from that man. Just then Jin-ee got a call from Linda. She started asking him when is he fulfilling the promise he made. Hearing a girl's voice, Miso became very jealous. She started avoiding him. She even took out her anger on things that fell on the road. At night, Jin-ee started tossing and turning thinking about Miso. He remembered when they both watched the Titanic movie and when he had lifted her in his arms and she had drunk water to control herself. Then he started staring towards Miso's room. Then he calmed himself and went to sleep. In the morning, both of them opened the door at the same time, but Miso was still avoiding him. Lost in her thoughts, He started drinking drink after drink at the club too. Linda also noticed, even when he came to get a drink, she, seeing him like this, asked what is going on. Why is he behaving so strangely these days? Chin-ee said he himself does not understand what is happening. He feels restless at night, cannot sleep, and only some things keep running in his mind. He does not tell her Miso's name, but even then his friend Bo easily understands that he has fallen in love. He curiously asks who on earth is the one who has put his friend in such a state, but he did not tell anything, so Bo gave this cure that he should get a girlfriend. Otherwise, he will go crazy. Just then Linda came. Bo told her that Chin-ee needs a girlfriend. Linda said girlfriend, but he has a girl whom he takes care of. Chin-ee called that matter a joke, on which Linda told him what is in her heart, that she wants to be his girlfriend. Bo signaled to say yes, but Chin-ee said he does not want to come into a relationship, so Linda said at least he can go on a date with her. In the next scene, at the amusement park, Linda and his friend Young and Miso were also going. Miso started getting ready nicely. For the first time she put on lipstick, seeing which Chin-ee just kept looking at her. A smile came automatically on his face. There everyone enjoyed the rides a lot. When Miso was with Chin-ee, she looked very happy, but as soon as Linda sat next to Chin-ee on a ride, her face fell. She kept turning back again and again, pouting to look at her Chin-ee. Meanwhile, Bo was busy setting up his friend's connection with Linda. He made both of them stand close and took their photo. But how could Miso let that happen? She came in between and ruined their pictures. Linda also felt they are family, so she stepped aside. When it was time to ride the Ferris wheel, only 4 people could go in one group, and they were 5. So Miso quickly pushed Linda aside and came to Chin-ee. But her friends stopped her from being a third wheel and took her along with them. Chin-ee, sitting with Linda, was only talking about work. Just then Linda came close to fix his hair. Young and Bo, sitting on the wheel across, saw this and thought the two were kissing. They felt finally their friend had his first kiss. But when Linda moved away seeing awkward Chin-ee, they got confused about whether the kiss happened or not. Miso's heart starts burning hearing all this gossip. Young and Bo were busy connecting their Chin-ee with Linda, so she started telling Chin-ee she wants tofu. He immediately served it to her. Bo said to serve Linda too, and when he added tofu to her plate as well, Miso angrily put her tofu aside. Bo and Young started asking was she scolded by her teacher because she has been acting strange since then. Linda also curiously asked are they two really brother and sister because both seem completely different from each other. Bo told her yes, they are not biological, but now live like a family, and she can also become a part of it. They even started calling her sister-in-law and praised Chin-ee's cooking. So Miso told them it is she who cooks at home. She even got Chin-ee to praise her with his own mouth. Linda said she wants to eat food made by Miso's hand, but she clearly said she has an exam tomorrow, so there is no need to come. He started saying she can come home and try the food Chin-ee makes. He makes food even tastier than Miso. Miso's face was ruined the whole time, which Chin-ee also noticed. After coming home, Miso put Chin-ee's jacket, which he had made her wear to protect her from the cold, into laundry. Then a pouch fell from the pocket which had a ring in it. Chin-ee told her it belongs to someone else, which has to be returned. But if she likes it, he can get such a ring for her. Miso said in irritation she does not want it. Chin-ee patted her and said he will get it for her. But right now she should only focus on studies. She should not copy others and put on makeup like this. It does not even suit her. So the next day, she actually started looking at herself in the mirror without makeup. Just then Chin-ee came and apologized and said he was drunk yesterday, so he said anything. That day he gave her a gift. Miso said go give it to your girlfriend. Anyway, wearing jewelry at school is not allowed. When Chin-ee said Linda is not his girlfriend, only then Miso accepted the gift, which had stud earrings in it. Chin-ee said if she is upset about something, she should tell him and not bottle it up inside and give him the silent treatment. Meanwhile, we see 2 workers, one of whom is Lin Feng, who tells Boss Who that the opening of the main hall has already been widened and the lintel they are using will not be able to carry the load. He told them to make the opening smaller. The worker said the wall has been measured. The blueprint is ready. Just saying to change it does not make everything easily change. Everything has its own procedure. The other worker took him away before Who got angry. Just then his man came and told him the new project manager, who is Zai's man, Chin-ee, has arrived. In the next scene, the The workers were talking that the project is on deadline, and this who knows nothing. Having graduated from Hechiang University, they still have to follow orders of an illiterate. Chun-yi arrived at that very moment. He also listened to the problems happening at their construction site, and when who came to welcome him, he told him the helmets are too thin. The construction framework is not following the blueprint. This is how the work is going on. So who said he will arrange new safety helmet? Chun-yi said he needs insulation grade ones by next week. After who left, Chun-yi asked Linfeng how is Haijing City. He told him it is good but expensive. Even doing an internship there, they can only cover the rent. Meanwhile, at school, Bo came to pick up Miso. When Miso asked where is Chun-yi, then he told her he is busy in Linda's project. So he was asked to come pick up Miso. Hearing Linda's name, she quietly walked ahead. She did not sit on Bo's bike. On the other hand, Zai and who were playing some game. Chun-yi was serving Zai wine, which Mr. Zheng had ordered from France for Zai. He noticed that though they are not family, they are no less than family. Seeing his skill of judging people, Zai said to shake hands with him forever and work for them. He can also make him his family. But Chun-yi clearly said as long as he keeps getting money, he will keep being of use to them. Zai said once he finalizes the deal with the Hong Kong merchant, he will shower him with money. At night, Mr. Zheng was waiting for him in his neighborhood. He saw his condition and understood he came after drinking. He first asked about the progress of the project and told him to do this work well, because this can give them long-term benefit. While leaving, he reminded him the inspection team is coming, so he told him to keep a little eye on Zai and, from now on, drink less. Chun-yi's face showed how much pressure he works under, but all his tiredness disappeared seeing the lights on in Miso's room. As soon as he came home, he started feeling unwell. He started vomiting, so Miso quickly prepared honey water for him. After drinking this, Chun-yi said it will be better for Miso to get out of this small city, but she clearly said if she goes, it will be with him, otherwise she is fine right here. Before long, Miso graduated. All her classmates were signing each other's uniforms as memories. Leo also brought his shirt to Miso to get her signature on it. He also asked for her uniform, but she refused. Miso's friend asked who is she saving it for? Is there not someone who filled her life with happiness in these 3 years? Miso said there is nothing like that. She did not bring her jacket, but she had told a lie. She wants Chun-yi to write something on it. Meanwhile, Zai was worried because of the inspection team. So Zhang told him to get rid of the blank tax receipt, but Zai expressed his concern about Chun-yi to him. He still does not trust him. Zhang said Chun-yi handles all their work. He looks respectable. That is why leaving every matter to an outsider does not seem safe to them either. When Miso was getting street food, she saw many police cars going by. She asked the shopkeeper what happened. They told her a strict tax inspection is going on. Companies like Guangxia are being heavily inspected from the district. Hearing this, she started worrying about Chun-yi. She immediately called him, but the call did not go through, so she asked herself where would he be at this time. She said he could be with Linda. At night, when he came home, he saw Miso's jacket on the table and a marker pen placed on it, and she herself was fast asleep in a deep sleep. The next day, he asked Lifeng about the cutoff scores for science and engineering program. He was very serious about Miso's future. When Lifeng asked how did she do in high school, then Chun-yi said proudly she came in the top 10. Lifeng said then she will easily get admission. Chun-yi called Miso and told her he has found information related to her interested majors. But her reply was very cold. Even when Chun-yi asked if she has any food demand, he will get it for her. But she just said get whatever and hung up. At night, her attention was on studies. But as soon as she heard Chun-yi talking on the phone about dropping someone at the airport, she started listening carefully and insisted that she also has to go with him. In the middle of the conversation, Miso said he should apply to Haijing University, but Miso said she will not apply to that city at all. Then she started asking who is he going to the airport to see off. So he told her Linda's flight is today. So Miso said before he goes, she wants him to help her review her vocabulary. She just needed an excuse to delay Chun-yi and spend as much time as possible with him. In the meantime, she also told him to sign her jacket. Chun-yi asked what to write. Miso said whether it is Tang or any other place, may we both always stay together and never be separated. When Chun-yi came to the airport to see Linda off, she told him about the sinking condition of Guangxia and taxes. She warned him if he stays here, sooner or later, he will also get dragged into all this. That is why she had booked 2 tickets. She asked Chun-yi to come with her, and offered him to do business abroad with her, which has many times more profit than here. Chin-E politely refused. He told her Miso's college entrance exam is near. He has to stay here for her. So Linda also said goodbye to him and left. After that, he made breakfast for Miso and wished her good luck for the exam. Miso asked if Linda said anything before leaving. Chin-E told her she wanted to secretly take him away from Zai to do business together. But he refused because here he has a big investment to focus on. Miso asked what this is about, but Chin-E did not tell her. While taking her to the exam, he kept reminding her about the identity card, water bottle, and so on. He told her not to be nervous. Miso said not to worry because she will bring a top score in the exam and make her family proud. On reaching the center, Chin-E hugged Miso and wished her best of luck and said after the exam is over he will take her for a nice meal. Inside the examination hall, Miso wrote all the question answers well. Outside, Chin-E looked nervous along with the other parents. As soon as the exam finished, all students came out happily. They met their parents. Chin-E was standing holding sunflowers. Bo and Young were also there, but Miso ran straight and hugged Chin-E and said her paper went very well. When Chin-E gave her the sunflowers, she could not contain her happiness. Both started blushing looking at each other. Bo thought what is going on here, but Chin-E sent both of them away, saying he is only taking Miso for food. But Miso said she wants to eat at home with him. As soon as they reached home, Miso placed the sunflowers nicely in a bucket right next to the sunlight. When both were eating fruit, Chin-E asked her has she selected a university now. Miso told him she will study in some college in Tang only. Chin-E asked her to not think emotionally, but a little practically, and said big universities like Haichi have better resources, and it is not that far from Tang either. He told her to think well before the application. In the next scene, we see when trying on wedding dresses. She looked so beautiful that Miso clicked a photo of her. When made her try some dresses too and started asking if she likes any boy. Miso was not telling quickly, but Win did not stop asking. Then Miso said there is a boy she wants to see every moment, and she always fears that he might get separated from her. Win advised her not to suppress her feelings, but to go and say it so there is no regret later. Meanwhile, the captain showed Chin-E an engagement ring. Chin-E said knowing Win's taste, he does not think she will like gold. The captain said every girl likes gold. Then he asked him is he dating anyone right now. He said he will not consider a relationship until Miso finishes university. The captain said what does Miso's university have to do with his dating life? Chin-E turned the question on him, asking why after being with Wen for so long did he think of marriage now. He told him first his salary was not that much. There were no savings. Wen's family also did not consider him. But now he has something to give Wen a good life. He advised him if he also wants to do better in life, then do not do anything that he will regret. Then both sat in a restaurant waiting for the girl. When she came, Win gave the captain a gift. There both of them saw how Chin-E and Miso care for each other. While eating, the captain asked Miso where has she thought of applying. She replied she does not want to go far from Tang. The captain advised her to step a little outside. What better opportunity than university time? This is the time to see the world. What is there in this small city? Miso said her home is here, so how can she go anywhere? The captain asked has any boy forced you to stay here? She started hesitating, so Chin-E took the blame on himself, that it is he who does not want to let her go far. The captain took Chin-E with him downstairs on the excuse of getting food. While leaving, when Miso asked what did Captain Zo talk to him about, he was not telling clearly. Just then Wen and the captain came outside. It was raining, so they offered to give both of them a ride. But Chin-E told them he has parked his bike outside, so they both will go. When both were on the bike, Chin-E remembered what the captain had said. They understood that he likes Miso. That is why he is not letting her go far. They clearly said he is doing wrong by her future. Miso should go to a good university. She should get out of this city and build her future. Otherwise, can he take her responsibility, whose own life is sinking in a swamp? Just then Chin-Yi's bike broke down. The rain was also getting heavier. There was a factory nearby, so they both stopped there. After that, Chin-E wiped her hair with his jacket. During this, he said she should not play with her future. This city is really small. There are not many opportunities here. Miso said she has no attachment to home. He knows very well she does not want to leave here. For whom? She held Chin-Yi's hand. She slowly started moving forward to kiss him. Chin-E also finally lost his control and kissed her. Miso said if she goes far away from here, will he wait for her to return? He said she is his only family. Whenever she comes back here, she will surely find him. After fixing the bike, both came home. Miso sat in front of the fan in her room and started blushing, remembering the kiss. Just then Chin-ee came with ice cream. Miso opened the door just a little and took one because she was so shy she could not even meet his eye. Here Chin-ee was in the same state. In the next scene, we see Miso checking cut-off scores of some universities. Just then messages came in the group chat of her classmates. Everyone made a plan to meet at a restaurant tomorrow. They insist she must come. Everyone said half the boys in the group have a crush on her, but it seems she is secretly in a relationship with someone. Miso also feels like dating Chin-ee. Meanwhile, on Zai's orders, work on the construction site project was stopped. Workers were worried because their livelihood depends on this. On top of that, they have not received salary for 2 months. Chin-ee reassured them he will do something about this. Everyone will surely get the money for their hard work. When he was with Hu, he asked where has Zai disappeared. Officers kept coming to the company repeatedly. Hu told him this is not a big deal because Green Life's business was also Zai's, which got sorted out even after such a big case. Just then Hu showed a sample of premium tea. About this, Linda had also told Chin-ee that Zai had ordered several batches of tea through her at Lin Gang auction house. In the next scene, Miso was getting ready for the restaurant wearing the stud earrings Chin-ee had given her. Meanwhile, the captain brought one to the inspection office, where she had been transferred for night shift. Here her investigation team met regarding tax fraud. That is why security was tight. The captain told them to be a little careful while coming and going these days, because tax fraud is completely different from Green Life's fraud. This is more dangerous. Meanwhile, when Hu went out of the car for the washroom, Chin-ee opened the tea suitcase, and in it were tax payment certificates. When he brought up this matter in front of Zhang, they felt he was threatening them for money, so they asked his price. Chin-ee said he does not want much in life. Just if he could get a billiard hall from which a source of income comes, he could take good care of his family. That would be enough for him. Zhang brought him to the surveillance room, where the footage of every corner of the club is captured. He told him that he and Zai built this big business together. Before, Zai used to listen to him, but now he does not. Then he showed a watch and reminded Chin-ee that they first met when he saved his life. The watch he had refused to take that night. Today he put on his hands himself. He told him that this watch is his identity, so whenever he is in trouble, he can use it to make the situation easier for himself. Chin-ee said he is grateful to him. Wherever he has reached today, it is all because of him. But now he does not want to stay in Guangxia anymore. But Zhang ignored his words and gave him the job of delivering something to Zai in a restaurant. In the next scene, in that same restaurant, Miso was celebrating with her classmate. Her friend asked her to sing, so she sang a song with everyone. Everyone became very emotional because this might be their last meeting. After that, everyone will get busy in their own college life. Everyone played games and enjoyed. In between, Leo moved forward with a flower bouquet to confess to Miso and said he is also going to the University of Tang City, so they will be living in the same city for 4 years. He finally said that he likes her. He wants to make her his girlfriend. On the other hand, Chin-ee arrived near Zai with the account details of all of Zai's companies. An expert man in this area had also been called there, who, after looking at all the documents, said that transferring these funds to Lung could be risky. So Zai showed a knife and threatened him that he was not called here to babble all this. While scaring him, he also bribed him to quietly manage his accounts. Chin-ee came outside for a little fresh air on the excuse of getting liquor. Just then a voice came from nearby. Everyone in the chorus was telling Miso to say yes to Lu, but Miso politely told him she likes someone else. Hearing this, Chin-ee took off Zhang's watch from his hand and walked away. But Miso's eyes fell on him. She came after him and asked what is he doing here. He told her he came for some work of his boss. Just then Miso's friends came from behind to call her for cake cutting. Lu also came and asked her to go hiking tomorrow, but instead Chin-ee said no. Just then Zai, in a drunk state, called out to Chin-ee and asked who are all these people. He said just some acquaintances. Zai licked his fingers, counted money, and gave him a tip for today's work. This was quite embarrassing for Chin-ee because Zai seemed very disgusting to Miso's classmate. Just then Hu came and took them away from there. Miso understood what kind of people Chin-ee has been mixing with. She started worrying about him. At home, she told him if there is anything he can tell her, she is not a kid anymore whom he always has to protect. Chin-ee said do not overthink. Everything is fine. After that, we see a flashback. After talking with Zai, when he had come to Zhang, he had told him he wants to go to Bay City with his sister regarding university, but they said they need him more here. Meanwhile, at the police station, an officer named Xian gave the captain good news that the Quanxia and Zai case will be solved very soon. They have got a clue. There is talk of sending Zai and all his men to the detention center. This news was told to be kept confidential. In the next scene, there was a raid on Zai's boat. The news rattled him. He asked Zheng Wen at their say they transferred all the money to Lung and shut down all the shady projects. Then why is all this trouble still coming on them? Why is the police after them? Zhang said doing all this has come too late. The police is also determined this time, but Zhang told them a way out. Meanwhile, Miso got a lot of things from the supermarket sale and happily showed all this to Chen-yi. At night, there was lightning with rain. Miso's eye kept twitching. She felt maybe she is having anxiety about her result. She messaged Chen-yi about her anxiety, so he came into her room to sleep, to chase away her fears. But on the floor, Miso said come sleep on the bed. He is not going to bite her. But he smiled and refused. But as soon as he saw Miso was scared of the lightning, he came and slept beside her. But where was Miso getting sleep? She was just staring at him and even tried to kiss him. But Chen-yi stopped her and said not now. Miso asked why. Is there something he is hiding from her? Chen-yi said from now on he will tell her everything. Late at night, he got a call which he went to receive. He quietly came out of the room, but Miso woke up and asked whose call was it. Chen-yi told her Zhang is urgently calling him right now. Miso said her eyes had been twitching all day and her heart was uneasy, so he should not go and stay home. But he said he will come before her result is checked. Miso also made him promise, and while leaving gave him an umbrella and again said do not go. But he said it is necessary to go. He is not going forever, is he? Zhang gave him a task to do. One last task, and he promised. After this, he will not stop him. Wherever he wants to go, he can go. He even requested with folded hands. Zhang told him to go to the inspection office. He messaged Miso, telling her he will come straight to her as soon as he completes this task. So she went to an internet cafe because the computer at their home broke down. While waiting, she wrote her thoughts in her private folder, and she has been doing this many times. In those messages, there is only mention of Chen-yi, who is family and home for her. She felt now their life is going in a better direction. But life played a game once again. The inspection office caught fire. Captain Zhou somehow controlled Miso, who was carelessly going inside for Chen-yi. Fire brigades and rescue teams were all busy in their work. Luckily, Chen-yi survived. In the next scene, Miso was crying and, in anger, asked Chen-yi when she had applied to the University of Tang City. Then why did he change it? Everything was going right. Then what happened? Chen-yi looked very harsh. He gave her a bank card which had 800,000 in it. He gave her this and told her to go away from here. Miso asked has he ever loved her. Chen-yi said no, he is very tired of her now. After hearing this, Miso gave him a hard slap and left. Chen-yi said after going to the city, until she contacts him, do not try to come back to him. In High City's university, she started studying. In the dorm, she used to stay quiet and write in her private chat, asking why did Chen-yi leave her hand and why did he push her away from himself. At present, Chen-yi booked a ticket to send Miso back to Hae, but she cut the landline wire and said no matter how early a flight he books, she is not going anywhere from here. So Chen-yi started packing all her things and throwing them out. Miso said even if he throws it in the river, it will not matter. She will wear his clothes. Chen-yi's head started hurting. He could not understand how to deal with this Miso, because she is no longer the same as before. Chen-yi cleaned his room and threw the garbage out. He opened the washroom door and saw Miso brushing her teeth wearing small clothes, so he told her to wear more clothes. She said you are acting so innocent, as if you are still a child. Chen-yi threw his jacket at her to wear, but she threw it back and said put dirty clothes in the washing machine. Why is he throwing them at her? When he went again to her room to talk, he saw her drying her hair after a shower, so he came out uncomfortable. When she came, he asked how long is she going to stay here. She said when her annual leave finishes and things are sorted with the person, she will be going with him. She picked up Chen-yi's cigarette from nearby and asked him for a lighter. Chen-yi was shocked and asked how did she become like this? Miso said people change. 6 years is not a short time, and anyway this is the future he wanted to give her. He should be happy. Her taunt pierced Chen-yi's heart. While showering, the fire accident started triggering him. He became anxious and went out of the house, and Miso saw him going from the window. In his absence, she looked at something. In a box were many of her old belongings and her phone, which Chen-yi had kept safely until now. Just then a message came from a boy. She called him and told him she has come to her home, to her brother, about whom she had never told him. So he got a little surprised. Then Miso said they had not been in contact for years, but he is still family. In the next scene, in the billiard hall, Bo found Chin-E asleep. He asked why did Miso come here after all. Chin-E told him she is on a holiday. Bo said do not believe her. He has gotten some peace after so many years. He should not get entangled in all this again. Meanwhile, Miso came to a locksmith to get a new lock because she had broken the old one to enter the house. This is the same Uncle Lu who she had asked to break the lock of the inspection office during the fire accident, in which all the important investigation files were there, but he had directly refused. Miso told him to come home and replace the lock. When Chin-E came out of the billiard club and sat in his car, Miso also got in and said drive straight to the market to get groceries, and also handed over the new key. Chin-E also, without saying anything, started the car. Miso's eyes fell on the charm which she had given Chin-E 6 years ago. Chin-E sped up the car and said instead of getting groceries, it is better to get food. So they got food and came home, but the tube light flickered and went off. So Miso started fixing it, but Chin-E pushed her aside and fixed it himself. Miso asked has he stopped being afraid of electricity now. Chin-E used her very own words and said 6 years is enough to change a person. Just then someone messaged him, calling him to meet across. So he started going. Miso asked, where are you going so late? So he said he has a girlfriend. Miso said, I did not ask that. What do you think? I came back here to chase you. Meanwhile, we see a man named Mr. Lu playing pool with Zhang and talking about business. After the match, he took out a photo and asked if he knows this man. In the photo was Chin-E next to that man. Zhang said he knows Chin-E, not him. He told him he has been his trusted man and praised him a lot. So Lu told him that for some work he needs exactly such a man. So Zhang said he will call Chin-E for a match and then introduce him to him. In the next scene, Bo, Yang, and Chin-E were sitting outside eating and drinking. Just then the Fat Dragon's same boy came with his boss, who had come to the billiard hall to threaten Chin-E. Fat Dragon very lovingly told Chin-E to collaborate. They put an offer that these days Chin-E's billiard hall is doing very well and many eyes are on it, so they can give protection to his club with their men. In return, they want 30% profit, meaning a small bribe. Chin-E said he opened this club for his friends. Their shares are fixed. For the rest, they can come and eat and drink there if they want. He will not charge them. Fat Dragon said making a friend is better than making an enemy. In the next scene, we see Chin-E notices that Mao Miso was often out the whole day. She would come back late at night. Sometimes she would not even eat food. No one knew where she used to go. But then one day when he was sitting in his billiard hall, surprisingly Miso comes there. She was standing there playing snooker. There was a trainer who was teaching her. Chin-E starts feeling very jealous and comes himself and starts giving her training. Now the two of them stand together. He teaches her how to play, and they also play a game together. After that, Chin-E tells her that your 1 hour is over. Come on, get out of here. I will not renew the next hour. Miso thinks that if you behave with customers like this, then your business is not going to run. And then she tells him that you have already kicked me out of the shop. Now drop me home too. But he tells her that today I am not going home at all. He wanted to tease her in every way so that she would get fed up and leave this city on her own. At night, he does not go home but sleeps right there in the billiard hall office. Next morning, he sees that an officer had come there for checking, and with him Officer Zhao was also there. The two of them together check all the documents of that business, whether the safety requirements there are complete or not, and apart from this there was also a complaint of a fight there. But Chin-E covers all these things completely, and in the end the police leave satisfied that nothing illegal was happening here. But the surprising thing is that Chin-E and Officer Zhao do not talk to each other at all, although in the past it was shown that the two of them were quite close. Now immediately after sending them off, Chin-E gets an idea. He thinks that a great idea has come to drive Miso out of his house. Why not put my house on rent? And he just reaches a real estate agency. He goes there and says that I need a tenant. Need one quickly. No matter how much rent they give, I don't care, but they should move in soon. And with this the agent understands that there must be some reason behind this. He asks, if you need my help in any other matter, I can do that too. And this was the moment when Chin-E had brought that agent to his side to do a drama. He gives that agent money and says that you have to pretend as if I have said to sell this house and you have come to see this house. Now that agent reaches home, but Miso does not overreact at all. Chin-E was standing outside listening to everything, but she was enthusiastically showing the agent the house. She was praising the house. Her not panicking even a little panics Chin-E. He comes inside the house and sees that Miso is sitting on the sofa with a tissue wiping her tears. Now he was feeling guilty. He starts saying that I am going to sell the house, but don't worry. Wherever you go from here, I will arrange for you to stay somewhere else. Spend a few days of your vacation peacefully in the city itself. But later it turns out that those were not Miso's tears. Rather, because of going into the storeroom, dust had gone into her eyes and her nose. And later that agent also comes out crying in the same way. Not even 2 minutes had passed when 2 to 3 more agents also come into the house. And Miso starts saying, Chin-ee, if you have to sell this house, then why don't we do a bidding, and whoever gives the best price, we will give this house to them only. And with this she starts showing the house to all the agents. Chin-ee gets very upset. He never wanted to sell this house. But there was Miso who was determined to start the bidding right now. Give us some idea of the rate. Now what does Chin-ee do? All the attacks had reversed and turned back on him. In the next scene, we are shown that Chin-ee was in his room. Some sounds of noise were coming to him from outside. He keeps lying comfortably, thinking, don't let her ask me to help with something. Maybe she is rearranging things. But a little while later, Miso comes inside and says, I have estimated the rate. We have received 2 to 3 very good offers. But the new buyers want to move in as soon as possible to renovate this place. So I have packed all the stuff and have also called the movers. Come on, you also pick up the rest of the stuff. We are leaving from here. Chin-ee is left stunned. He says, when did I give you permission? She says, you did not say no either. And then with this she sees an old school time photo of hers, which Chin-ee had kept very carefully. He says, I don't need this now, keep your things yourself. But she throws it in the garbage and was going to throw it away when something happens to Chin-ee's heart. This picture was very dear to him, so he goes after her and says, don't throw this. Throwing old photos like this is a bad omen. And why are you helping me so much in selling the house? She also immediately starts acting and says, you know what the thing is that I have become jobless. If I help you in selling this house, then you will surely give me some commission. No problem. Leaving this house, I will spend my days at some small place paying a little rent until I get a new job. He is left stunned that, having such a big university degree and living in Haicheng City, why has she come here? She says that the work was very exhausting. Had to work from 8 to 10 at night. I made 1 or 2 mistakes and then I got tired. I want rest. Well, Chin-ee says, you can stay here, and tells those movers to put all the stuff back up. Now Miso had told him only this, that as soon as I get the next job, I will move out from here. Until then, I had nothing to afford the expense of living in Haiyang. And Chin-ee had always loved her so much. How could he ever see her in trouble? He immediately says yes. Now he was repeatedly worried about Miso, that how long will she remain jobless like this even with such a big degree? So he tries to use his connection. He meets the same engineer whose name was Mr. Shu and who had met him on site 6 years ago. These days, he was a manager in a big company. He tells him, I can help you for Miso. I will send her CV, and after that they will call her for an interview. Only if she is capable will she be kept. And for Chin-ee, even this much help was a lot. He just wanted to end Miso's stay as soon as possible and get her a job. And on top of that, he was also worried about how she had managed herself on her own for so many years during university times. God knows what the poor girl must have gone through when she has come back home so tired. On the other hand, looking at Miso, it did not even seem that her job had slipped from her hand. She had gone in a completely chill mood and was choosing new furniture for the house. Sofa, coffee table, new cupboards, dining table. She chooses everything in minutes. And her hands moved so fast that when Chin-ee returns home, he finds out that the whole look of the house has changed. He turns around and looks towards the door again, wondering if he has entered the wrong house. And just then Miso appears to him. She says, how did you like my magic? Chin-ee starts saying, I understand. Seeing everything old here must have been depressing you. No problem, but don't blow your savings on these things. And immediately gives her a card and says, whatever the expense was, take it out of this. And not only this, but he also helps her in setting up the furniture and reading the drawing. Next day, Chin-ee takes her with him to an office, and this was the place where manager Shu was recommending her. She gives an interview there, but she was in so much attitude that, looking at her, it did not seem at all that she seriously wanted this job. She had quoted her rate and her overtime rate very high. Now in the end, manager Shu apologizes to Chin-ee. And when Miso comes, he tells her that your brother cares for you very much. Many years ago, when you were getting admission, he had all the research related to your merit done for me only, and he cared for you then and does now also. Now he was saying such things when Chin-ee immediately sends manager Shu away from there. But Miso had come to know this much, that even today Chin-ee is caring for her. Meanwhile, at this moment, Chin-ee was making some big decisions in his life. He shuts down his billiard hall because there was some problem with its registration and its account. He wanted to make his work completely legitimate. That is why he decides to build a snooker academy here. His friends were a little unhappy, but still they support him in every decision because they They had been with Chunyi from childhood till now. Well, now they were setting up their place in a new way, and along with that, promotions also. But people were not very interested in his new business. On the other hand, we are shown that Miso was visiting a logistics company. That company's name was Haoyun Logistics, and here she also secretly takes some photos and was trying to get some information out from there. And then with this, Tuli makes her entry. She was running a beauty salon, and these days things here were not going very well. And along with this, the mall people were giving her notification to vacate this place soon. She thinks, how did they have the nerve to notify me? Don't they know who my boyfriend is? And then she reaches that property office. There was a new worker there. She starts telling him, you know, my boyfriend, his name is Chun-Yi. Even with him around, you had the nerve to send me this notice. And as soon as he finds out that this Chun-Yi is the Chun-Yi of District 7, he starts trembling right away and takes back his notice. On the other hand, we are shown Miso. She was repeatedly talking to someone on the phone about work-related things and often used to go out for some work. What is this work? That we will find out only as we move ahead. But on the other hand, Tuli finds out through her friend that these days a girl has been seen coming and going at Chun-Yi's house. She is living in his house itself. Some people have even said this much. Tuli gets worried hearing this and thinks, I will go and see myself. Now she was standing at the door of the house when, just then, from below, Miso was coming. She starts telling her, let me tell all the girls who hover around Chun-Yi that I am his girlfriend and will always be. But Miso was as if finding her words funny. She opens the door and says, come. Whatever you want to threaten, whatever you want to talk about, come inside and sit and do it. Tuli was left stunned that not only is this girl living there, but she has also changed the entire setup of the place, and Chun-Yi would not even let Tuli touch anything. What is all this after all? Tuli does full acting to show that she is the one and only beloved lover of Chun-Yi, and also that their engagement has happened and the two of them are going to get married soon. But Miso was as if not affected by these things at all. She just wanted to ask Tuli something about Chun-Yi's past. She asks in a roundabout way, when did you two meet? She first lies and then tells the truth that 3 years ago. 3 years ago is exactly when he had returned to Tang City. So she comes to know that 3 years ago he came back, and before that he was living somewhere else. Now, in the end, Tuli tells her only this, stop dreaming about Chun-Yi and get out of here quickly. And just then Chun-Yi arrives from upstairs. Seeing these two talking so comfortably drinking tea, he was left stunned. And just then Miso brings Tuli's stuff and says, it was lying here, I packed it. Did not know then that you were the owner of it. And yes, let me tell you this much, I am not crazy about Chun-Yi, but I am his family member. Hearing this, Tuli is left stunned. After that, Chun-Yi goes to drop her downstairs. He says, I hope you did not fight too much with this girl. Tuli does not agree to anything, just says, I was doing exactly what you had told me. I had to keep girls away from you. That is my duty, right? Well, now Chun-Yi sends her away from there. But he was worried, thinking about what she must have said to Miso. The poor girl is already stressed because of losing her job, and now she must be feeling that I want to kick her out of this house too. My girlfriend needs privacy. She must be thinking such thought. Now he goes upstairs and says to Miso, sorry if Tuli was rude to you. Miso says, no, nothing like that. It was natural for her to be angry. I am living in her room after all. And just in the middle of talking, Chun-Yi does not even realize it. He says out that, no, she used to come to stay in this room only occasionally. And Miso starts saying, if she is your girlfriend then why did she come to stay in a separate room? And right here Chun-Yi gets caught. Well, now meanwhile, Chun-Yi goes to a place to play badminton. She had come here alone, and she spots an old school friend of hers. She meets her. The two of them play together and talk a lot. But it seemed like Miso had deliberately targeted and come here to meet her. And here Bao's girlfriend also used to work. Bao had to take keys from her, and in the middle of talking, she tells him that Miso has come here. Chun-Yi also comes to know. He says, you forget the keys. I will go and get them myself. Now, as soon as he reaches there, he finds out that Miso is sitting and talking with a friend of hers. She was asking her about her job. She used to work related to that same logistics company, and it was a company of Mr. Zong only. Now from here some things were becoming clear. It seemed like Miso had come to do some audit on Mr. Zhang's company, but she was doing this work very secretly. She would not tell anyone anything, would find excuses for every work, had also told her friend that my partner was supposed to come, but did not come. In fact, she had not brought anyone with her. And as soon as Chun-Yi reaches there, she says, yes, it was him only I had come to meet. He got late. Now, from this very thing, Chun-Yi comes to know that she was finding excuses to meet this girl. There is definitely something fishy. And then right here the two of them play badminton. They were asking each other very strict questions, trying to dig into each other's past, when While playing, Miso gets hurt on the knee. Chun-yi holds her and brings her along to the billiard hall itself. Bao and Young see that he has brought Miso along. They immediately run away to the side. Now he makes her sit, very lovingly applies medicine on her, and then starts saying, "Why did you go to meet that friend? Did you ask her to find a job? Don't take so much tension of the job. You can stay in my house as long as you want. Do you want to move out quickly because of Tuli? Then let me tell you this much, that me and her are really just." He had just said this much when, outside, a long car had come to meet him. This was Mr. Zhang's secretary. She was repeatedly forcing him that the work that Mr. Zhang wants from you, just do it, considering it a last job. But Chun-yi was refusing, so she shows him that there is something in the car that, when you see, you will not be able to refuse. Now, what that was, we do not come to know, but upstairs in the room, Miso spots some pills of Chun-yi here. These were medicines he used to take, and they were for depression. But these were some serious type of medicine, seeing which it was clear that he has some serious psychological issues. Just then Chun-yi comes upstairs quickly, tells Miso that Bao will drop you. I have an important work. I am going to do that. And just with this, Miso also gets suspicious. She also goes after Chun-yi. She finds out that Chun-yi went to Mr. Zhang's place. There, Mr. Zhang was introducing him to his business partner, and they were talking about some work-related thing. When, somehow dodging the guards, Miso also goes inside. She stands from a distance and sees who Mr. Zhang is having a meeting with. She also takes their photos and sees Chun-yi sitting there. She thinks, so you had lied to me. That many years ago you had cut ties with Mr. Zhang. You still work for him even today. And then, after that, she calls Chun-yi. She says, I have got hurt. I am in that same junkyard where, in childhood, we both used to collect garbage together. Chun-yi is surprised. Why did you go there after all? And just then she cuts the phone. Chun-yi even leaves his official dinner to go after Miso, and finally he reaches that point. He was looking for her. She was getting wet in the rain, so he comes with an umbrella over her. He says, tell me, where are you hurt? She says, the hurt is on the heart. He says, what rudeness is this? She says, my earrings are lost. I am looking for them. The same earrings that you had gifted me. He tells her, stop this madness. Why are you standing here? Come from here. This place is not right. One should not come here at night. But after that, when she insists, he was trying to look for those same earrings around there. Miso yells at him and says, what has happened to you after all? Have you gone crazy? On one hand, you leave me, and then, looking at you, it seems that you have not moved on till today. What is the truth after all? When will you tell me? He gives no answer, so she opens her hand. In it were those same earrings. She says, I found them. Now let us leave from here. Chun-yi was saying, you are taking revenge on me. You are making me suffer. You hate me so much. She says, that is exactly it. Miso, because of his pressure and force, takes the other heel's shoes, but her heart was still stuck on those shoes which she had left behind. Now she comes outside. In the next scene, it was raining ahead. She says, come close to me. I do not want to ruin my new shoes in the rain which you gifted me. She wanted him to carry her, but Chun-yi does not agree. Now she goes and starts ruining her new shoes in the rain on purpose. Chun-yi had understood that she had become stubborn. He comes and carries her along with him. This is exactly what Miso wanted. She starts telling him that maybe you do not know, but I can feel your heartbeat. Your heartbeat has become very fast. After that, Miso used to go to work every day. She was handling all the documents very well, and along with this she was also staying connected with her main company at her headquarters. There was a Mr. Sun there who used to contact her again and again, and she used to take instructions only from him. On the other hand, Zhang had called Chun-yi to him again and tells him that today, I want to spend some time with you. He takes him for a walk and talks to him about some old thing. Photos of him and Zai were also placed here. It was not shown again what was built with Zai in the past. In the present he does not appear, but Zhang used to mention him often and used to say that Zai has trained you very well and I want you to work for me again. He says that Hao Yun company of mine is in very big trouble. Look, I have also got a card ready for you. He shows him his employee card and offers him to come and handle everything now just like in the past. But Chun-yi clearly refuses him and says that I will not try to save a sinking ship. In the past, I had no choice. I was blackmailed, but now this will not happen. After that, Chun-yi goes to pick up Miso, who was returning from an official dinner. There were many of her colleagues here with whom she was looking very free. Chun-yi was feeling jealous inside his heart, and he was not even realizing it. But Miso feels this and tries to make him even more jealous when she praises one or two of her colleagues standing there, and Chun-yi counters her every word. He says about someone that he looks very immature, and says about someone that he looks very old. Miso also clearly says that it is not you, but the jealousy inside you that is speaking. I was not talking about their personal life. Are you searching for your brother-in-law inside them? Do you consider me your sister? After that, they both leave, and then the next day it is found out that Tuli had opened a new salon. And there to show her power and influence, she had also called Chin-E, and on the other side Miso had also come. Chin-E did not like the growing friendship of these two. He used to always become uncomfortable, and because of this he stays far away from Tuli at the time of ribbon cutting. Tuli feels that some time has passed. At least he used to be her friend before, but now he was keeping distance from her and used to leave quickly. Meanwhile, when she was getting her nails done, in between the conversation, she asks Miso that has any girl come into Chin-Yi's life these days at his work or anywhere else. Miso says, do I also count in the list of these girls? Tuli thought she was like his sister. She says, no, I am not talking about you, I am talking about other girls. After that, these days Chin-Yi used to be worried somewhere about Miso. He used to say that is this not some useless company where you work? Are there no scammers? They make you do so much overtime. They make you work on weekends too. You come back late. Take care of yourself. He was also worried about the fact that they have no proper office setup. Meanwhile, he sees Miso's clothes in the laundry, and there he sees her ID card, and this ID card was from Haoyun Company, meaning from Mr. Zhang's company. Seeing this, he becomes worried. He does not show his worry to Miso, but later he was thinking again and again that why did she join this company? He could not clearly tell her that it is Mr. Zhang's company and stay away from it. But in hints, he was telling her that why did you go to this company? You could have gone to so many good companies. You could have waited a little more time. But Miso says that I got the job on my own strength. Why should I leave from here? After that, they go to see that same festival after so many years, which they had also seen before Miso's entrance exam. Walking around there, many old memories of the past come to them. And there was a point where Standing Chin-E had made a wish years ago that Miso gets merit into the top university, and that had really happened. So today, standing at that same place, he also says think. Miso keeps looking at him with a lot of love, but Chin-E always used to keep distance from her. In the next scene, Chin-E alone calls Mr. Zhang's secretary. He takes her out for a nice dinner, and asks her that which new employees have been hired in the company these days, and he finds out that no new employees have been hired, but they have been outsourced from another company, meaning Miso had not directly joined their company. At the same time, that secretary also says that there are many such things of Mr. Zhang, which I should not hear, or after hearing I should forget, and that is what I do. On the other hand, we are shown Tuli. A parcel comes to her from Haoyun Company, but the seller had done a scam with her. She asks for her refund, but in that contract non-refundable was written, and it was such a shady contract that the poor girl suffers so much loss. Now she wanted to stay quiet. She did not want to bother Chin-E either, but her friend does something that she goes to Miso. She says that you also work in Haoyun, right? Your logistics handled all of this. She shows her that contract. For Miso, it was a small thing. She says everything will be handled in 2 to 3 days. Tuli gets very angry. She says Chin-E will feel bad. Why did you bother his sister? And just then, standing there, she gets a call from that same seller who is calling her to meet at a restaurant at a cafe. She goes there in a worried state, and it turns out that Miso was also sitting there. That seller was very ashamed. He returns all her money back to Tuli. He apologizes to her and leaves, saying to Miso that please do not file a case against me. I have accepted all your conditions. Miso was very powerful. Tuli feels that I have not studied beyond high school. That is why I do not understand the words of educated people. There is truly so much power in education. She wanted to thank Miso. She tells her that you will not take money, so I will definitely take you out for dinner. And along with this, she also pays her taxi fare. Miso was looking very capable to her. Of course, she was a very powerful chartered accountant, and also a deputy director in a big company. She had achieved at a young age what she truly deserved on the basis of her talent. Her mother also used to try to contact her again and again, but she never used to reply to her. So while doing auditor work, project manager Ding would often trouble Miso a lot. But today he gets a proper bashing. When on a live call, Director Sun, who is Miso's boss, gets connected with them. He tells Ding that providing all these things is your responsibility. And if you bully my people, no one will be worse than me. Now Sun's words were so reasonable that Ding sits aside like a wet cat. But in his mind, he was already plotting something. After that, today he tells everyone that since I caused trouble for you all, I will treat all the auditors from my side. He takes them to a farm to have food with him, and then using the excuse of paying the bill, he slips away from there before all of them. Meanwhile, Miso had also stepped out to take a call. Chin-E was supposed to come to pick her up, but Chin-E says that I am a little busy. In fact, Chin-E had gone to dinner with Tuli. The property management office people were troubling her, and that is why she wanted to introduce Chin-E to them. When those people leave, Dory had asked Chin-E that have you fallen in love? You seem very different from before. And of course Chin-E was feeling all this change because of Miso, but he does not tell her anything. Now Miso was calling Chin-E once. She was calling him to come and pick her up, but right here she feels danger. There were 6 or 7 men who had come and were finding the room booked by the auditors. And this was that very moment when Miso immediately tells Chin-E on the call that call the police. There are 7 or 8 people who are searching for us. And then finally they had recognized Miso. They run after her and she was running forward to save her life. With great difficulty, dodging them, she reaches outside. But just as those men were about to catch her, Chin-E arrives there. And first he injures them with his car's impact, and after that he seats Miso lovingly inside the car. He says do not come out. And after that, one by one, he fights all those men. He was very good in the fight. It seemed like he was trained, but his anger was like something that could drive anyone crazy. He beat some of them so badly that 1 or 2 got scared just watching his beating and ran away from there. And one goon reaches Miso, but at the right time Chin-E reaches there. He tells him that you are crossing my red line, and after that he grabs that goon. He asks him that who sent you? That goon tells that I have no enmity with them. Lee Hao sent me to scare these people. Lee Hao was probably a company name that was hiring people to do this kind of work. Here Chin-E goes mad with anger. He beats him so much as if he will finish him off. But at the right time Miso comes outside. She hugs him. She stops him. He was not even thinking about calming down. It seemed like he had no control over himself. He was not in his senses. Miso controls him with great difficulty. But here too Chin-E tells her I am sorry. Maybe I scared you. But she says absolutely not. You protected me. In the next scene, after this fight, they had reached the police station. Here Officer Zhao was scolding Chin-E a lot, but Chin-E was talking to him very rudely. The other officer says that Zhao is talking to you like this because you are special to him. He considers you like family, and it really was so. Even though Chin-E had beaten those men more, still Officer Zhao saves him. The CCTV footage was proving that they had started the fight, and whatever Chin-E did was done in defense. After so long, today seeing Miso, he was also very happy. He begins to say that if one were alive today, she would be happy seeing you like this. But I am getting a little worried. I did not think an accountant's job would be this dangerous. But Miso convinces him saying that it was an exceptional case and danger can happen in any job. Officer Zhao was now alone. Wen was not with him. He would often remember her by looking at her photo. But how she died, we don't get to know either. Meanwhile, Miso and Chin-E both were going back home. Chin-E was completely silent. On the way home, suddenly he bursts out and tells Miso that leave this job. You are a chartered accountant. You can get a good job anywhere. Why are you doing auditor work? How much danger is in this? Today I came. Otherwise, how would anyone else protect you? But Miso was also very angry. She begins to say that 6 years ago you betrayed me. You left me alone. You sent me to Haicheng City. You even got my major chain. Which field I have to choose? You had that changed too. Now will you not even let me do a job of my choice? Will I live life on your instruction? He says I am saying this because of the danger. So Miso says there is danger in working with Sing too. So why did you take on that danger? He says you can leave. You have a choice. I did not have one. Miso says you are a coward. A coward in leaving and a coward in expressing your love too. I dare you. Can you confess your feelings? Do you have that much courage in you? She thought he would not be able to do this, but he stops her and then kisses her. Miso was completely surprised, and after that he tells her give me a little more time. I will try to fix everything. Well, the next day, Officer Zhao comes to his billiard hall. He also helps bandage his hand and at the same time tells him that how long have you not come for counseling? He says I will also not come now. But Officer Zhao was very worried about him. He blackmails him saying alright, then I will tell all your secrets to Miso. She herself will take you for counseling. Hearing this he gets worried, and just then from above Miso also arrived, who had brought food for Chin-E and also invites Officer Zhao with her. Chin-E only cared that Officer Zhao should not mention any of his psychological issues in front of Miso. That is why he was being a good boy and following every word of Officer Zhao. In the end, Officer Zhao quickly leaves from there for an emergency case and could not eat food either. But after Miso leaves from there, he comes back and takes Chin-E with him to go for counseling himself. This counseling of his used to happen inside the police station. He got this facility because he had reported against some big crime. Chin-E says that all this time, remembering that old time during hypnosis becomes very difficult for me. I face all of that again. I don't like to bear that. But Officer Zhao saying was that all this is very necessary for your decent desensitization. Now, not wanting to, Chin-E has to take those sessions, in which he remembers that 3 years ago he was taken somewhere else, and there he was made to fight underground. He would fight a battle of life and death. All that time his life had become a torture. All these feelings come to him again, and he travels through it all once more. But in the middle of hypnosis, he is asked to remember a good memory. So only Miso's face appears to him, and she had come back into his life. What bigger happiness could there be? At night, to bring dinner for Officer Zeo, Miso comes herself, and today she had seen that Chin-E had gone into the counseling room. She comes to Officer Zeo and using different excuses tries to ask him too. But he says that if Chin-E had to tell this secret himself, he would have already told you, and without his wish I will not tell. Miso had at least gotten a sense that Chin-E is suffering, and she wanted to help him in this suffering. That is why today she gives him a lollipop like in childhood. Whenever he got injured, she would give him this same gift. Chin-E feels good, but still calling her childish, he walks along with her. On the other hand, Psychiatrist Ting comes to Officer Zeo and begins to say that Chin-E has improved a lot. I think in just a few months we will achieve our target. And at the same time during hypnosis they had felt that Chin-E, is he dating someone? If that is so, it is a very good thing. A girl has come into his lonely life. And just hearing this, Officer Zeo understands that the love of those two from so many years ago is still alive just the same. Well, now Chin-E and Miso both were going together. Miso just wanted to support Chin-E because he had always supported her in every trouble. And along with this they show us that the next day, Chin-E was sitting with Mr. Zeng for fishing. Mr. Zeng uses a fish's name as an excuse and begins to say that when my own trained people start showing smartness in front of me, I feel very bad. Maybe in hints he was saying all of this for Chin-E only. On the other hand, Miso comes again to Bo today and tries to ask him that after all what happened with Chin-E, she had not only tried to ask Bo, but had also tried to scare Young on the side to know the full secret. But it seems no one has opened their mouth yet. On the other hand, Zing today gives Chin-E a photo and says that maybe this person is bothering me. He says I have already left illegal work long ago, but still if someone keeps an eye on me or tries to trap me, I get a very awful feeling, and I feel like some outsider has entered my logistics company who is trying to trap me. I have tried very hard to find out but have not been able to reach yet. I want to give this work to you. As soon as Chin-E gets the feeling that this person could be Miso, he immediately gets scared. He does not show his fear in front of Zeng, but later in front of Bo he begins to say that in looks Miso seems like a completely sweet and innocent girl. It seems she is harmless, but only those who are close to her know her instinct. When she comes to attack, she does not spare anyone, but this time she is taking on danger. Zing is a very ruthless person. I am scared that something might happen such that I cannot protect her. Now after that he goes up. Till now Miso had not slept. He begins to tell her that please don't go after Zing. Step back from all these investigations and behind the scene work. There is very big danger. But Miso does not take any of his words seriously. She says I just want you to not take tension and sleep a very nice sleep tonight. I think you have not slept for many days. And along with this Miso tells him that tomorrow I have a plan to watch theater. At that same festival her favorite actress's show was to be held. She says we both will go together to watch. But the next day they show us that a goon comes to Tuli's salon who seemed interested in Tuli, or they had some past relationship. He scares her and also drives away her customers. When Tuli gets into a lot of trouble, she calls Chin-E for help, and this was the same time when Chin-E had to watch that show with Miso. Miso was standing there and someone was saying that today a special show has been arranged. A boyfriend has done it for his girlfriend. Miso begins to think that maybe someday Chin will also do something special for me. But what special would Chin do? He had not even arrived on time. He had reached there and was teaching that goon a lesson and tells Tuli that next time there is no need to be scared. Even if our contract ends, in this kind of work I can help you. On the other hand, Miso thinks that maybe the special girl of today's show is her. But after that the actress moves her forward. And then along with this a boyfriend comes who proposes to a girl. The love story of those two was looking very touching. Miso was also watching them and thinking that maybe someday such a moment will also come in her life, and along with this director's son also arrives there who had come to watch that local festival, and he had also spotted Miso right there, and this was that very moment when those two were standing and from above Chin-E arrives. Chin-E had fallen into jealousy the moment he saw director Sunday. Maybe he could understand the look of another boy. What was visible in his eyes for Miso was not normal. So as soon as Sun says that so this is your brother, Chin-ee immediately says, remember one thing, I am not a blood-related brother, and then along with this he offers to drop them from there. Sun opens the back door and seats Miso there, but Chin-ee cannot bear it. He holds her hand, takes Miso out and seats her with him in the front seat. Now those people had reached outside Sun's hotel. Sun begins to say that this is my room number. Miso, come. We also have some work to do together, right? Miso immediately leaves. Of course, she was angry at Chin-ee as he could not arrive on time to watch that show with her. She tells him, if you can protect someone else at the time of the show, then I can also do my office work at nighttime. And just at nighttime, she is in the hotel room with the boy. This very thought was making Chin-ee restless. He wanted to stand outside, but could not stand there either. He had come to know the room number, so he immediately goes up and starts ringing the bell. Miso comes out and Sun could also clearly see how jealous Chin-ee was at this time. Not even half an hour had passed. He begins to tell her that I have come to take you. Soup is made at home for you, and somehow forcefully, he takes Miso with him. Miso also somewhere found Chin-ee being this possessive very good. Well, now Miso remained quite busy in her office work. There was no direct suspicion on project manager Ding. That is why they were also behaving completely normally with him. Now the next day, as soon as Director Sun comes to the office, he had brought some special gift for his entire team, and among them the most special gift he had brought for Miso. Now after that they get busy on work. He calls Miso and Ding, and after that gives Ding a proper scolding too. Some documents were needed which Miso had arranged from somewhere and Ding could not bring. Meanwhile, Chin-ee was not getting any peace. It seems his sleep had gone. He kept thinking that since Director Sun had been trying to approach Miso right in front of him. Now as soon as it is time to leave, he knew the timing and he goes and stands in front of Miso's office. She was coming out with Sunday. Chin-ee stands in front and hears that those two are planning dinner together. Chin-ee says, why not I treat Director Sun to dinner at a good place for his welcome. Let me make you all eat the local specialty of this place. Sun had understood. He was also enjoying his jealousy. He immediately says yes. And then after that, before Sun could move ahead, he seats Miso with him in the front seat. Then all three of them go together to have food. At first, Chin-ee only knew that Sun was Miso's boss. That is why he was finding him so bad. But then in the middle of talking it slips from Sun's mouth that we two were also in a relationship before. I am also her ex. That is why I personally know a lot about her likes and dislikes. And just after that, Chin-yee's face was worth watching. But not only this much happens, Sun begins to say that whoever she breaks up with, she never calls them back. We are still in connection because of this reason. Because we work at the same place. Her boyfriend before me, she doesn't even look at his face now. Chin-ee is so surprised that before him also there was some boyfriend of hers. It means she had 2 or 3 relationships. At dinner that was enough. He would not be able to eat food. Now after that he tries to take out all his anger on Sunday. He was forcefully insisting that I will give the bill, but still Sun pays the bill and leave. Now on the whole way back, he was sometimes taking out his anger on the car and sometimes on the passing traffic here and there. And then if he walks in so much anger, then his foot will also trip, and the same happens. Miso laughs a lot. She begins to tell him that if you want to ask something, ask me directly. But Chin-ee shows himself very mature and begins to say, what is such a big deal? Obviously, you have grown up. I also have many relationships. I can understand. This thing is completely normal. What difference does it make to me from your exes? And somehow covering the topic, he goes inside the house. Now the next day his meeting with Officer Zeo happens at his own house. This was the same house which he and Wen had bought together. They wanted to move to this house after marriage. But then something bad happened and Wen is no longer in this world. Now in this house there were only her memories. Chin-ee comes there and gives Officer Zeo some information. He tells that Zung is thinking about certain things these days. He is searching for a new business partner, and this time his work is related to some import-export. Well, now after this they show us a side story. Bo's girlfriend Ning, she along with him was shifting to another house, and while getting the shifting done, Chin-ee was also helping them when here Ning's mom and dad arrive. They feel very bad that our daughter is not with a reliable person. They thought that Bo's work is not good, and he will only tire out our daughter moving around in rented houses. They were about to refuse the marriage and leave when Chin-ee calls Bo as boss, and then also makes a very good impression of his in front of his would-be father and mother-in-law. He tells that the billiard hall where he used to work, he has now bought that. He will get a very good down payment very soon, through which he can also buy his own apartment soon. So you don't need to worry. And then after that he also joins him in this act, and they both together take mom and dad to visit their billiard hall. Dad was standing there calculating how much the boy could be earning, and just in the end they feel that he is completely right for their daughter and is also financially strong. While going, mom begins to tell him, you are all right. Just because of your clothes, your impression on us had gotten bad. Now that you have become a boss, keep your dressing good too. And along with this, Chin-E had done one more mischief. He had intentionally placed Bo's and Ning's photo on the table in the office, seeing which Mom had become very happy. Well, finally, the talk of marriage was confirmed. They leave from there very happily. Now after that, Bo thanks Chin-E, says that you are a very good friend. But in fact, all this was not a joke. Bo had also mentioned this problem of his in front of Chin-E before. So from then itself, he had taken a very big step. He was going somewhere else after becoming free from here on a new mission. He begins to say that anyway, you give more time to the billiard hall than me, and he hands over everything to him. Says that we will also go and sign the transfer agreement, and from now this entire business is yours. Bo is feeling bad for him, so Chin-E begins to say that for the satisfaction of your mind, you can consider this a loan from my side. When you have money, hand over my share of the shares to me. Bo's heart was also not agreeing, but Chin-E, to make him laugh, says that this is not a death agreement. Immediately sign on this, and he had already transferred his property to his name. Now the new work that Chin-E had mentioned. Actually, he was accepting the offer from Haoyan Company. He enters the meeting room dressed in a very good, but actually a weird dressing from his side, and this was his entry that left Miso along with Sun completely surprised, and then he comes and tells that Haoyan Company has made me in charge to cooperate with auditors. From now I will handle all their dealings, and it was his right to sit in this meeting. Now he sits and was listening to Miso's presentation. Before him, the in charge there was some bald uncle. He was fighting a lot with Miso. In the middle of talking, he begins to tell them this girl is speaking so well. Were you jealous of her hair? Means personal life or professional. He could not bear anything against Miso anywhere. Now anyway, he gets an office and people were also gossiping about him. They say that who knows if he understands business or not. But Mr. Zing has handpicked him, so he will remain superior to us. Well, now Chin-E on the first day brings coffee for the entire team of auditors too, and tells Miso, come towards my office. I have to discuss something with you. She follows behind him, but he had no work topic to discuss. He begins to say, I had heard once from your mouth that someone looks very good in a suit. Actually, she had said this about Sunday. So he says, look, today I also came wearing a suit. But Miso begins to tell him, when you used to work in District 7 before, you used to dress so well. What has happened to your dressing sense now? So he begins to say, all right, if that is the case, then you fix it, and she begins to fix his tie. Now after that, those people go home, and here when Chin-E comes after a shower, Miso herself blow dries his hair. There those two were also talking for quite a long time. Miso was saying that, did you accept Mr. Zhang's offer because of me, or is there some other reason? I think you have come here only because of me. Otherwise you had been refusing them for so long. Chin-E begins to say, you think you are so special, and she had come a little close to him, and just seeing her so close, his heartbeat increases, and then his nose starts to bleed. Now Miso wanted that both of them drink herbal tea together, so they go to the night market. Here their two colleagues were also roaming together, and as soon as their eyes fall on Miso, they immediately come to her, and Chin-E, who is standing behind her, disappears from there like horns from a donkey's head. They think that maybe a boy was standing with Miso, but they had not seen his face properly. In the meantime, they begin to say that yesterday they had seen on Sun's laptop he was ordering a very expensive women's bag. Who could this be for? So immediately Miso says for his mom, isn't it her birthday this month? So her colleague begins to say that 1 year has passed since you two broke up, but even today you remember the family details of his. Wow, you two are made for each other. And just then Chin-E, hiding behind a tree, hears all these things. Now of course no green tea could fix his mood, but here Miso begins to tell him that, Chin, make me this promise. Like the last time, you will not leave me like that. You will not break my heart by making any excuse. Chin-E tells her that you also promise me that you will never put yourself in danger. And then after that, the next day in the morning, both of them go to the office together. Today, Chin-E had worn a very tremendous suit. Miso's eyes were just not moving away from him. Chin-E begins to say, I have dressed like this only for you so that after today, you don't look at anyone else in a suit. And of course today, in the office, Miso's eyes were not going to move away from him. In the next we see Chin-Y starts telling Miso that you know the rules, right? Auditors do not get too close to the person they are auditing. That is why in the office we will keep our distance. Miso says, I thought that since you are coming looking so handsome, my office life would get a little interesting. But you turned out to be a big rule follower. Saying this, she had come quite close to him. And Chin-Y was just about to kiss his girlfriend when she dodged him and walked away from there. Miso was no longer that teenage girl. In fact, she had learned very well how to play with Chin-Y's feelings. feelings. After that, when she was working with her team, Chin-wai himself comes to see her, and the excuse he made was that you people will need my help. Whatever file or document comes out will have my signature on it, so that you do not have to keep coming again and again for signatures. Why don't I just shift here? But in fact, this was all just an excuse. He wanted to get close to Miso. But this step he had taken was not only difficult for the auditors, because they would have to take permission for every single record, while on the other hand the people at Haoyan were also getting trouble. Mr. Wang starts saying that if we sign everything like this, then if something goes wrong, whoever signed will have to take responsibility. But in reply, Chin tells him clearly that if you had been doing your work properly, you would not have had to see this day where I have to come and take over. In the next scene, he goes on a visit to one of their factories. And here there was a Mr. Dao who was in charge of checking all the trucks and all the logistics on the field. He also comes to know that Mr. Wang, who was there before, was not doing his work properly. And now Chin-wai had come and caught many of his mistakes. Chin-wai had now gotten access to many things as well. He had proven himself right and had established such authority that he also gets a lot of inside data extracted. Meanwhile, on the weekend, Sun and Miso were both going to do some extra work. They go to some of Haoyan's clients. Some were present clients and some were past clients. They collect some data from everyone and do questioning because they were suspicious about something in the record. And right there, Chin-wai had also come to check the outgoing cargo. He sees both of them coming out and starts saying, "What is this? You both are also working on the weekend?" Miso should spend the weekend with her family. And Sun also tries his best to become a third wheel between the two of them, and Chin-wai always keeps pushing him back. But still, even without wanting to, Sun was stuck with them. He even tried to get inside the umbrella, but Chin-wai would not let him in. Here in their conversation, Chin-wai makes Sun realize that his and Miso's relationship has been very close. He starts saying that right here. Once Miso had prayed for getting admission to a very good place, and I come here every year to give thanks. Now he was showing from his side how special he is for Miso and Miso is for him, so that Sun keeps his distance. But Sun starts saying that if wishes made at this place get granted, then why don't I also make a wish here for my love life? But Chin-wai tells him that nothing can happen for you. Such a good girl came into your life, and still you have become her ex. Now he had successfully put his hand on his sore spot. In the next scene, we are shown that in professional life, Chin-wai would not let any kind of enmity or jealousy come in between. He was cooperating with Sun in a decent way, but Chin-wai was not that simple either. Everyone thought that since he was handpicked by Mr. Zhang, he would be very special for him and his biggest loyalist. But it seemed like he was giving some report or the other to Mr. Zhao, who was an officer, again and again. After that, he comes to the place from where all the containers and cargo goods were being taken out. He was checking there and also keeping a very close eye on many things. And right there, Sun and Miso had come to play their own move. They come pretending to be clients whose some goods had gone missing. They wanted to do some tracking and check different things from their side when right then Chin-wai also arrives from above. Now they had come as clients. They are auditors. Just hearing this, everyone would immediately become alert. So Miso does something. She acts in front of Chin-wai as if the two of them are meeting for the first time. Chin-wai also understands. He could have gotten them thrown out right then if he wanted, but he does not do that. Instead, when Miso was secretly checking some data there, he comes and stands in front of the camera. He lets her take photos of the place, but still tells her that the work you are doing is very risky. Listen to me and get out of all this danger. I do not think I will be able to protect you for much longer. On the other hand, we are shown that Tuli also had a small son. That means in the past there must have been a husband, or maybe that was the same boy who used to come to her salon and try to scare and threaten everyone. He still had not given up, and Tuli feels a lot of danger from him. That is why she trusted only one babysitter and would tell only that person to take care of her son. Meanwhile, Jia's wedding was about to happen soon with Bo. So once she had gone to the salon to get some treatment, she asks Tuli that these days you and Chin-wai do not go on dates. I do not see you both together. She says we both have broken up. Now she did not want to keep even this relationship by name in front of the world anymore. And along with this, she remembers all that time when both of them used to go around with the label of relationship for mutual cooperation. Tuli was in danger from some people and Chin-wai used to help her deal with them. And that is how this relationship was going on, which has now ended. Well, now what happens is that the suspicion being raised about Haoyan Company was really true. There was definitely something wrong in their shipment because there was a point where all the trucks would be stopped and those people would change their own number plate. And all of this happened under the supervision of Mr. Dao. While Miso was collecting evidence of all this, from behind Chin-wai grabs her. Miso starts saying today is a weekend. Are you standing here as a representative of Haoyan Company company or as my boyfriend. On weekends, you should be only and only my boyfriend. And just then Dao feels some danger. He had heard some sound. He immediately goes to check in that direction. But in this situation, Miso gets into the car taking Chinwai with her and starts kissing him. Now from a distance, it was looking like a couple who had come to a deserted place and got romantic in the car. Both their faces were not visible, so those people checked there with satisfaction and left. So now as soon as Miso is satisfied that those people have left from there, she comes in anger and gives Chinwai a bite. She tells him that because of your noise, I was about to get caught. And then she comes back from the back seat to the driving seat and starts telling him that I have to go meet a colleague. So you get out of my car. He tries very hard to stay with her, but she throws him out. But was he going to stop? Now he follows Miso sitting in his own car. And then as soon as she reaches a gas station, he finds out that she had come here to meet Sunday Sun had called her himself to pick him up. And Chinwai also arrives there. Sun sees Chinwai here and says, "What is this? How did you get this injury near your lips?" And after just a little observation, he understands. Chinwai also wanted to show him exactly this. And later when he was going with Miso, he tells her, "You also bite back. I did not know this side of you when we were in a relationship. I am too jealous." Well, and here we also come to know that Chinwai had told Sun in private that you will get the promotion. Your team will complete the task. But if you put Miso in any danger for your personal and professional games, I will not forgive you. After that, we are shown that Miso had also played a move. She goes to the police station and files a complaint. Here she shows a number plate and says that I had a small accident with this vehicle, but it was a deserted place, and there was no camera there either. That is why I want to contact its owner. And that was the same truck whose license plate they would change later. Now as soon as Dao comes to know that one of their drivers named Bai was missing, he immediately gets worried. He also dismisses a very important meeting of his because he was sensing danger. Now this danger had also become known to Chinwai that at this time Miao was making enemies with whom. So he arrives at the police station first. He tells Miso that you leave here right now. I will handle everything, but you have no idea how dangerous these people are. And then after that, as soon as the driver arrives there, before he could see that Miso had filed a complaint against him, the settlement had already been done. The fine had also been paid, but no one was let know that this complaint was made by Miso. And after that, when Dao comes there, he puts all the blame on Ding. Ding used to be their own man before, but he starts saying that now it seems he has joined the audit team. Dao gets angry hearing this. Chinwai says, "Do not worry, I will handle it." And after that, he plays a double game. He calls Ding to himself. He shows him some reports and financial records because of which Ding was going to get badly trapped. He starts telling him that all this record against you has already reached Sun as well, and he is going to trap you completely and bring you down. I can save you only on the condition that you give up right now. Otherwise, you know that you will be banned, and you will not get a job anywhere else either. And that is how he convinces him too. And all of this he was doing only and only for his Miso, so that she would not fall into danger from anywhere. Miso also comes to know about this, and she starts telling Chinwai that you are playing a double game. You will not be able to fool Zing for too long. You are also in danger. And then the same happens. Mr. Zing's call comes, and he calls Chinwai to meet. He asks him how everything was going, and Chinwai gives him the report he wanted to give. He tells him all the blame had been put on Ding. Ding was also doing some wrong work on the inside, and the evidence against him was solid too. So Mr. Zing becomes satisfied. But one thing was keeping him in doubt. He starts saying that the police had called Bai, but at the last moment, how did you arrive to handle all of this? And in reply to this, Chinwai had said something very deep. He says that Zai had tried very hard to fool me in the past. I have learned since then. I do not get fooled now. Mr. Zing also smiles and says maybe that is why Zai is no longer in this world. But whatever happens, remember this, that you will not be able to separate yourself from whatever happened in your past. That means he was also blackmailing him about his past so that he always stays on my side. Miso was worried about how Chinwai must have handled everything in front of Zing. She was waiting for him outside the house. But when Chinwai comes, he does not tell her anything. And Miso becomes sad and says, you have not changed at all from then till now. You do not share anything with me. Next day, Miso does not talk to him properly either when he was getting ready to go to the office and was asking her for a setting spray, but she ignores him and walks out. After that, we are shown the scene that today Bo's wedding is happening. All the friends were very happy and completely ready. Chinwai had also dressed traditionally today because he was the groomsman, and Miso was also invited to today's wedding. And on top of that, Tuli had also come here to get the bride ready. Now they wanted to enter the room to see the bride, but of course the bride's friends had locked the door, and here some rituals go on. They accept the money given from the groom's side, but still they had put up another obstacle ahead. Well, In the next step, there was a web made of threads which they had to cross going through a maze, and they had to tie a knot of the thread of fate. But the groom says I might make some mistake. I think Chinwai can perform very well in this matter, so I will send him on my behalf. And from the other side, they ask Miso for help. The two of them each hold the thread from their own side, and somehow crossing through they move forward. And there was a point in the middle where both of them came together. And here they tie the knot of the thread of fate together. And along with this, it felt as if the threads of their hearts had also met. After that comes the turn to ask some questions, and they also ask some questions from the groomsmen. They ask, what promise would you like to make to the love of your life? And he just looks at Miso for a moment and says that no other promise is that special for me. For me, the most important thing is that whoever I love, she should always be happy and along with that safe too. Now this was sounding romantic to all the people, but not to Miso. Being safe and being kept away to be safe. Chinwai had always been doing exactly this. Well, now once Chinwai was standing near Miso and was talking to her about something. Here Tuli was looking at them again and again. Chinwai was that awesome, and for so long he had also played the act of being her boyfriend. So somewhere in Tuli's heart there were feelings for Chinwai too. And then in the meantime we come to know that the girl who was supposed to become the bridesmaid would not be able to arrive on time because of some problem. That is why they needed a girl urgently. The clothes were already ready, and that girl's height and weight were somewhat like Miso. But as soon as Tuli hears this, she comes running forward and says that till today I have never been a bridesmaid, so give this chance to me. Now of course somewhere she wanted to bring herself closer. She was satisfying her heart in this way that if the groomsman on that side is Chinwai, then on this side I am the bridesmaid. But still something happens such that when the turn comes to throw the bouquet lands in Miso's hand. That means now she will be the next bride. Well, now Chinwai was very worried. Miso was angry with him, so he does something. He comes to the audit team to fix her mood and announces that you all have been working so hard for so many days. Your company wants to do something for you. Why don't we all go together for a team building exercise? It is a 2-day trip and we will bear all the expenses. Everyone thought Miso would not agree, but she says the expenses our company can bear ourselves. And then along with this, some people start saying, why don't we go abroad? There was an island in the neighboring country which was very famous. But as soon as Miso hears this name, she says we will not go abroad. Instead, we will all go to Sana Island in our own country. In the next scene, we see that all the colleagues had reached an island to enjoy their 2 days holiday. In the next scene, here Miso's colleague, Xiao, tells her that I have bought a swimwear for you too. And see, you will look very beautiful in this. Sun will go crazy for you. But it was very revealing. That is why Miso rejects it. And when the girls were passing by talking about this, Chinwai overhears their conversation. And somewhere deep inside, he feels very jealous that why are people pairing Miso with Sun when they have already broken up as a couple. And along with this, it also happens that as soon as Sun sees Miso, he compliments her clothes. He says that the color is suiting you very well. Chinwai could not bear even this much. And after that he looks and sees that both of them were sitting together. And Sun was saying that I have kept a recording for you, and it is a recording of natural waves. Whenever you cannot sleep at night, listen to this. You will sleep very peacefully. After that, now when Sun leaves, Chinwai comes and starts saying to Miso, by the way, why was he getting so close to you? He is your ex. Has he forgotten that? So Miso starts saying, okay, he is an ex, so what are you? You are also an ex only, right? Or do you want to give our relationship a name? But before Chinwai could give any answer, Miso walks away. Meanwhile, after that, Chinwai takes out all his frustration by playing a basketball and then a volleyball match with Sunday. The boys were competing with each other like this, and the girls enjoy this scene a lot. In short, they all have a lot of fun. And in the end, Sun also got a little injured. He was not as good in physical activities as he was in office work. So here Chinwai taunts him a lot. He says you should be physically strong like me. So Sun tells him that you are doing all this because of jealousy. Do you not trust yourself, or do you not trust Miso? So Chinwai starts saying, do you think Miso is going to come under anyone's control? Impossible. She burns herself on her own. On the other hand, now at night Chinwai comes and gives Miso a car key. He says it is for you so that you never have to take help from your colleague in this matter. But she says, who are you to give me this? She wanted to ask him the name of their relationship, but Chinwai would go silent every single time. After that, the friends sit together. They also play truth and dare. And when it is Miso's turn, everyone asks her, how do you want your dream boy to be? She says someone who is passionate, reliable, and gives me an equal status. Now everyone was asking, "Is your dream boy on this beach right now?" She does not answer, and in her place Sun takes a drink. Now when Chin-wai observes a little carefully, he understands that Miso never wants Chin-wai to always protect her. She wanted an equal level bonding together. Exactly the same harmony that they used to have during their high school days. They both used to earn together, used to support each other. And Miso did not want this same one-sided burden anymore that Chin-wai had created. Next scene. So while fishing, Miso and her friend reach a certain place. Here her friend Xiao got injured, and she got stuck between the rocks below. Miso protects her, sends her up, but after that they could not pull her up, and meanwhile an emergency happens at the beach. Very big tides were coming, so Miso sends them away. She says go and get help. As soon as Sun gets to know about this, he calls the rescuers. But Chin-wai, without caring about his own life, swims fast and reaches that same point. And he rescues Miso even before the rescuers arrive. And then he hugs her tightly. He says, "What was the need for you to put yourself in danger? Do you even know what would have happened to me if something had happened to you? What would I have gone through?" And then he admits to Miso that when it comes to you, I become selfish. You do not need to save anyone from now on. Think about yourself first. After that, well, now both of them go to the clinic. Miso had got a little injured, and they came back after getting medicine. A little later, Xiao needed a painkiller for her injury, so their colleague was looking for both of them because the medicines were with them, but both of them were not in the hotel. In fact, both of them had gone to the beach together. They had to share some things from their heart, had to lighten their feeling. Miso starts telling him, "You know what? I feel very bad. You always send me away from you to save me, to build my future, and you put yourself at risk. I do not want this kind of relationship. I want to protect you too. And this time my purpose of coming back to Tang City was also this, because I wanted to save you, wanted to rescue you from here and take you far away from your painful past." And then after that she tells him, "Close your eye." And right with this she kisses him. Now Miso had opened up every thought of her heart in front of Chin-wai about what kind of relationship she wants with him. And one thing was clear, there was no one else in both their hearts except each other. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we are shown the scene of Thank City. At Rao's newlywed house, Tuli had come today to set her nail. And here in the middle of conversation she asks her, "Is Chili dating Miso these days?" But Xiao says, "I know that they are not blood related, but I do not know many details about them." He was also listening to their conversation, and he feels that Tuli is again and again taking interest in Chin-wai's personal life. He tells her that if you want to patch up with him, I do not think there is any chance for you. Let me tell you this much, that Chin-wai is not officially dating anyone right now. But still I do not think he will ever say yes to you. But Tuli says that if he is still single then there is definitely a chance for me. I will try my luck. Meanwhile on the other side, as soon as the guys were coming back, Sun comes into the car before Chin-wai and sits next to Miso. Now for comfort Chin-wai should have sat in the front, but he says no, there will be too much sunlight in the front and my eyes are already itching. He wanted to send Sun to the front, but Sun was also not ready to go. Now Miso thinks that let me end these two's childish game, and she goes and sits on the front seat and says you both sit comfortably at the back. But here when Miso falls asleep, both the boys were going above and beyond to serve her. They were treating her like a child, and sometimes Miso was starting to feel annoyed. Well, finally they all come back and Chin-wai remembers that time when Miso had said every thought of her heart and had also said, "Chin-wai, do you truly love me? Or you just do not know how to love me? You have never understood me. You think that the way you put yourself at risk, ruin your life for my sake, I can stay happy like this." Well, the same night they return, they come to know that a typhoon has arrived in their city. It is raining very heavily. Well, now along with the weather outside, the weather of both their hearts was also very bad, and a storm of many memories had come in both their minds. Miso misses the old days a lot. When they both used to live together in this house, she felt that the whole life would pass peacefully like this. But then a lot had changed in their lives. Miso remembered every single favor of Chin-wai, that how he used to support her, and now in return, she also wanted to repay his favor, wanted to come on an equal level, but to keep her safe for her sake, Chin-wai had again chosen that same dangerous path. He had joined Ho Yen, was working for Xing again. So sitting at the beach, she had told Chin-wai that I think after my arrival you have fallen into danger again, and this thing is making me very uncomfortable. But Chin-wai says whatever this was, it was my choice. You do not think about anything. On the other hand, Chin-wai was also thinking the same thoughts and had fallen asleep, and he gets a very bad dream. It feels like Miso is leaving him again, and out of fear his eyes open. When he looks, his house had become full of water. Miso was also trying to remove water from the house, and Chin-wai also helps her. Actually, Miso had forgotten to close the windows. Well, now they remove as much water as they could. But even after that, many old things in their house were floating like fish in the water. And right there, Chin-wai's childhood magazine that he used to read was also lying there. Seeing this, he panics. He says it did not find me in so many years, and now it is floating here. Miso says, do not panic. I know all your secrets, and I also used to hide this magazine from your dad for you. Now both of them were thinking in their mind. Miso thinks that if today was our last day, then what would you want to do? While Chin-wai was thinking that yes, it is raining, the house is full of water, but still I want to enjoy this time with Miso. Miso tells him that when my audit of this company gets completed, what will you do then? He says, wherever you go, I will come there. Your job seems very dangerous and I will stay as your bodyguard. Now after that, Miso says, I am feeling very sleepy, and both of them somehow adjust together on the same sofa. Although Chin-wai found this position very awkward, still Miso says, close your eyes quietly and go to sleep. On the other hand, we are shown Mr. Zing. He was remembering the old days of himself and Zai very much. They both used to be best friends, and earlier they had started their business from just a small shop, and that shop was a rice noodles shop. Today he is craving it, so he tells his driver and assistant to order good rice noodles for him. He probably wanted to eat this in memory of Zai. And then after this, he asks Tao about Chin-wai. Tao says, I am also having a lot of suspicion about him. He got fired from the job intentionally. The evidence that was against him was fabricated, and he was trapped. Mr. Zing says, I already had suspicion about him. He sees the photo of Miso and Chin-wai together and starts saying that I know about his weakness, so I have no worry. Well, now next day, Miso and her team's work was almost about to finish. That is why they were relaxed that no overtime will have to be done, and they were planning a dinner together about where to go eat. But meanwhile, Mr. Tao comes and says that Mr. Zing has invited Miso to dinner with him. Here Sun tries to protect her. He says that we are going to team dinner, and if Mr. Zing has any questions related to work, then I will answer them. But Miso understands that Zung must be calling me because of Chin-wai, and in all this she did not want to involve Sunday. So she starts saying that he is senior, and if I refuse then it will look rude. So you all go to dinner and I will go towards Mr. Zing. Well, now Sun was also worried, so he tells this same thing to Chin-wai on the phone that today Miso is going to dinner with your boss. Now Mr. Zing in the middle of conversation starts saying to her, Miso, have I seen you somewhere before? And now Miso immediately changes the topic. She says very confidently, oh, you remember me. When District 7 used to be yours and Chin-wai used to work there, I used to hover around him to wait for him. Chin-wai and I grew up together. And Zing says, oh, so you're his sister. Miso was very mature and was very good at talking. Zing could not catch her at any point. And meanwhile, Chin-wai also arrived. A smile comes on Miso's face hearing this. When Chin-wai arrives, he completes their conversation. He says, she is not my sister. We just grew up together. We have no blood relation. Well, now they talk for a while. From the outside, everything seemed smooth, but inside it was clearly visible how much hatred they have for each other. And of course, here in a way, Zing tells Chin-wai that the next project and my business partner's work ahead, you will be the one doing it because you handled the last work very well. Chin-wai did not want to work for him. While going back from there, he says to Miso that why did you accept that we both know each other? Miso says, are you mad or acting mad? What do you think? Zing did not know. Did he invite me to dinner just because I am an auditor? He knows everything about you and me. About your weakness. That is why he is also using you to take the next work. Well, Zing had recognized absolutely correctly. Chin-wai's biggest weakness was Miso only. Next day, when Miso comes back from work, she sees that Chin-wai is packing. She asks him, where are you going? He lies that I am going on a business trip, but Miso catches him. She tells him that you are going to Jingu, right? Just like you went 6 years ago. Now just hearing the name of the place Jingu, Chin-wai is left shocked. He asks her that did you know all these things? Did Zing tell you? But Miso says whether I know all this or not, what difference does it make who told me? I am just saying that this time you will not go. And then she closes the door of the room, gets into his bed itself. She says that today I will sleep right here. Remember that night too? We both were together in the same bed. When 6 years ago you went away from me like this after promising that you will come back soon. But remember this, that if you go this time then you will regret it a lot. Chin-wai says that the situation was different then. Now it is different. In these many years I have changed and I know how to handle things. Miso did not want to hear anything. She tells him my one condition is only this, and I have told you. But still in the early morning, Chin-wai picks up his things and sits in the car and leaves. Miso had also not slept. She was watching him leave from the window. Meanwhile, Chin-wai had reached near the boat, and from here itself he had to take some things and move forward on his journey. But Chin-wai did not know that on this day Mr. Zhang was taking his test, and Chin-wai had reached there on time. While at that same time Miso had filed a police report that near the beach a gangster's fight is about to happen. And just as they were about to fight, before that Officer Zio arrives there, they catch Chin-wai and the rest of the people too, and the entire planning had turned upside down. In the end, when nothing is found against Chin-wai, Officer Zio himself brings him along to drop him and says that this complaint was made by Miso. She is very smart and she cares about you. But Chin-wai starts saying, what care? By saying gangsters fight, she tried to get me arrested and put me in lockup. Well, now after this he reaches home. But when he goes and look, Miso was not at home, and not only this, but none of her things were at home either. She had left this place and gone. She had given Chin-wai one chance in which he had failed. Miso's other colleagues used to stay in a hotel, so she also shifts to that same hotel. While on the other side, Tuli comes to Chin-wai's house. She sees that Miso is not there, so he lies that she has gone to work. Here, Tuli tells Chin-e that I know what is going on between you and Miso. And yes, let me also tell you that even after all this being clear, I still want to confess my feelings in front of you. I don't know if this is about depending on you or I just like you. And these are spontaneous feelings. I don't even know that. But still, I want to lighten the burden of my heart by saying what's in it in front of you. I don't need any answer from you because I already know it. And then she also sees that the way Chin-e used to be alone before, and Tuli was the one who used to take care of him and fill his fridge. Now someone else had come, and of course it was Miso who was now taking full care of Chin-e. Seeing this, Tuli's heart breaks. She leaves. But Chin-e says to her while she is leaving that if you ever need my help in life, do not hesitate. On the other hand, Miso once casually asks Sun that if a person puts himself in danger for you, keeps you as his first priority and forgets himself, then would it be right to spend life with such a person? Sun says everyone has their own preference. But if someone loves so much that they forget themselves and put the other person first, maybe I would not choose such a person, because I feel that balance should be given to a relationship from both sides. Meanwhile, Officer Zeo had come to Chin-e. First they discuss a little about Zhang, but after that, seeing Chin-e worried, Zeo starts saying, what happened? Did you have a fight with Miso? He says yes. Something like that. She is moved out of the house. Zeo says go and convince her. Do a little sweet talk or take a gift. You will see she will agree. But Chin-e says that the matter has now gone much beyond all these things. On the other hand, the colleagues for some reason kept feeling on their own that Sun and Miso are going to get back into a relationship. One of them had a dinner plan somewhere and the other one also did, and they start thinking that maybe they're going to dinner together. Meanwhile, Zhang today shows Jenny the report. He says that the report sent by the auditors mentions a lot of risks, and Miso had also signed on it. Chin-e had handled a lot of work according to Zhang's wish, but still, to cover any hurdle, he had not taken the law into his own hand. But now he was worried about Miso. Zhang was a dangerous person, and here Miso's signatures mean all the responsibility is hers. That is why he gets very worried. He goes and becomes the representative of Hao Yen and points out many mistakes. He says that the risks you have mentioned are not right, so change your report. And Miso was also talking to him very professionally. She was calling him not Chin-e but Mr. Chen. Talking formally, she says that you are doubting my capabilities. And in the end, this whole argument gives no result at all. In the next scene, Chin-e goes outside and tells Miso that you are in a lot of danger. You don't know Zhang properly. I don't want a point to come where even I cannot protect you. But Miso starts saying to him, who needs your protection? Why do you feel that I cannot survive without you? Do you look down on me so much that for my professional life, my personal life, everything, I will depend on you? When can you give me an equal status? And saying this, she walks away angrily. After that, Zeo meets Miso once and tells her that Chin-e is a very good person, and if you feel that you have become a burden on him, then that is completely wrong. I have seen both of you grow up together, and I know that your relationship is not about burden and all that. Uncle Zeo always had a wish that somehow Chin-e could join the police academy, but fate had something else written in it. Right here, Miso gets a message, and she finds out that a lot of money from someone's insurance policy is going to be transferred to her account very soon. She starts thinking, who can send me so much money? The next day, she goes to the bank and tries to find out, but she did not get this information from there. They say that only the insurance company people will be able to tell you this. And at the same time, we are shown that it was none other than Miss Wei. that is, Miso's mother. She had now become quite old, and it seemed that there was not much busyness left in her life. That is why she was missing her daughter, and she was the one who had gotten this money transferred. On the other hand, Chun-Yi cannot even sleep at night, thinking again and again about what condition Miso must be in. He tries to check her status, but he sees nothing. So at 2 o'clock at night, he calls Bo and says, "Can you see Miso's status? Has she blocked me somewhere?" And hearing this, Bo starts saying that you are calling a newlywed at 2 o'clock at night and asking to check the status of another single girl. You should be ashamed. Well, somehow he had spent the whole night awake. The next day there was a very big surprise for him. Someone had come to his house, and it was Miss Wei. But Chun-Yi does not invite her inside the house, but goes below the stairs to meet her. She was saying, "Does Miso live here?" But he says, "Today you remembered Miso? Do you want some benefit from her?" She says, "No, I am missing my daughter. She is not picking up my phone. She is not replying to my messages." So Chun-Yi also taunts her and says that when you left your daughter and dumped her, you never turned back and missed her then. Now that she has become independent, you remembered her. On the other hand, the mother messages Miso and says that I am in Tang City and I want to meet you. Just take out some time for me. I will be very happy. Miso first does not reply at all and after that stays lost in the office all day. But later some colleagues were talking about their new home. Some were missing their parents. So right from here it comes to her mind that who knows how much life is left. Why not meet mom once? At this time, her mother was standing in a jewelry shop, and here she was choosing a bracelet. She remembers that day when on Miso's 16th birthday, she wanted to buy a bracelet from here, but the mother got busy. She did not give her much attention. Now she regrets a lot and buys an even more beautiful bracelet for her, but she did not know that the time that has gone does not come back. That Miso, who was very weak and used to wish for all these things, now she was no longer that Miso. Now she had become strong. She could buy all this herself, but at the time when she was sick, she was weak. She needed her mother. At that time, the mother had not even shown her love. Well, still she meets her mother. She says that I have a 2-hour break. There will be no more time than this. And after that, she asks her mother, "Do you need something from me?" She says, "No, I just want to see you." She says, "You have seen me. You have seen this city too. Now go. I will call a taxi for you." But the mother runs ahead and says there is still a lot of time left in 2 hours. After that, she walks behind her mother. Her mother was trying to take out a stuffed toy from a machine. Miso feels like who knows what depression she is stuck in. She starts saying, "Did you break up with your new boyfriend that you are taking out your frustration here?" But her mother says, "I remember you used to love taking out toys from such toy machines. But at that time I did not have time." And now she was trying again and again, but she was not able to do it. So Miso moves her aside and quickly takes out a toy and hands it to her. She was giving it to her only. But Miso says that now I have no such wishes and no such interest. Now they go together to eat food. The mother starts saying that I have made many mistakes. Whatever wrong I did to you, I want to make up for it. But Miso says that you have missed so much that that time will not come back and that old Miso has also been left far behind now. Now the mother takes out that same bracelet. Miso feels even worse seeing this, but the mother herself comes forward and puts it on her hand and says, "I know that this bracelet holds no value for you now and no old time will come back from these things. But still, for the peace of my heart, for whatever wrong I had done, I want to do something good." Well, now the mother had no place to stay. Chun-Yi would not keep her, so that is why Miso brings her to her own hotel room. Now she sees that Chun-Yi had messaged her again and again. He was saying that whenever you feel uneasy or uncomfortable, come back home right away. Now she was really feeling very uncomfortable. So the next day, when she was going back from work and Sun was dropping her, she goes home. She opens the door and goes inside and sees that Tuli is sitting there and also wearing very comfortable clothes. Chun-Yi was also there and the moment becomes so awkward that Sun feels like they are uninvited guests invading their privacy. Sun says, "Why not? We should leave." "What do you think, Miso? Let's not disturb these two." But Chun-Yi comes and says, "Yes, you have disturbed. But only you. This is Miso's own house, and she can come at any time." Tuli was saying that it is not at all what both of you are thinking. Sun could have doubted, but Miso could never doubt. She knew Chun-Yi very well, so she goes and checks. She finds out that actually Tuli had come here with her son. And Tuli also tells her that whenever she is in trouble and her ex-husband comes to trouble her and her son, they used to ask Chun-Yi for help, and today something like that has happened again. And then both of them were taking care of the child together and spending good time when, In the meantime, that same ex-husband reaches Chin-Yi's door. Chin-Yi tries to throw water at him and chase him away. But in the meantime, Tuli also comes there because he was calling out to the child, and the child had kind of developed a phobia of his dad. Whenever he heard his voice, he would start shaking with fear because his dad was very violent. Now Miso cannot bear it. She comes forward and says that if you do not leave from here, I will call the police right now, and after that he runs away from there. The way she pushed Chin-Yi aside and faced the situation herself, Chin-Yi finds her very sweet. And after that, all four of them sit together and eat food, and somehow the child had recognized at first sight that uncle and Miso auntie make a couple. He says that you both look good together and auntie takes very good care of you. Hearing this, of course, both of their moods become very good. Now, after eating together, Tuli and Bao sleep in Miso's room itself. Tuli says that for me, my child is everything, and it is for him that I also left my dancing profession so that his head never bows down because of me. Hearing this, Miso realizes that I wish, when I was a child, my mother had also thought about me the way Tuli, being a good mother, is thinking about her son. The next morning, by the time Miso wakes up, Tuli and her son had already left. Now Chin-Yi makes breakfast for her. She says, "Why did you not tell me that my mother had come?" He says, "I did not want to trouble you. You were already in so much stress because of work." But Miso says that mother wants to go with me to grandma's grave. And I am thinking, why not go along with her once? And then Chin-Yi nervously asks her, "Do you consider moving back in?" Miso says, laughing, that it depends on your behavior. On the other hand, we are shown in the hotel room that Wei's health had not been good these days. She was also taking medicine. And in solitude, she was missing her daughter a lot. Ever since she started living in the hotel, Miso had kind of left her own room. Well, now Miso gets a little too busy in her work. She had a lot of suspicion on Mr. Liu, who was becoming Zhang's business partner, and they were busy doing some investigation related to him. And she is so busy that she does not even appear to Chin-Yi in the office, and she does not come home either. He gets very worried and thinks, she is angry with me. How do I convince her? And his friends were giving all kinds of advice. He was being roasted a lot by the one who had gotten married. He says, I know how to convince a girl. He was talking about some gifts or taking her out on an outing. But Chin-Yi starts saying, nothing can help you. My Miso is not the type to agree with such gifts. In the next scene, we see that Chin-Yi and his friend had come over to Bo's house. This problem was not going to be solved by those boys alone. Whatever complications had come between Chin-Yi and Miso at this time. So here, Bo's wife Chao gives them some advice. She tells Chin-Yi that we girls are very innocent. Even small and little things matter a lot to us. So if you want to show her any positive gesture, then try to take care of her in a way that you call her every day. Message her at the end of the day and ask her how her day went and how much did you miss her? What is missing in your life without her? You have to express all of this and tell her. Well, now this advice felt really good to Chin-Yi, but it also felt a bit awkward because this kind of lovey-dovey type of relationship they had never really had before. Still, that night he called her and was talking to her in a very sweet and nice way. Meanwhile, Miso had gone out of station, and after working the whole day she was very tired. But talking to Chin-Yi in this way was feeling really good to her. He was asking her if she was too tired, whether she had overworked, or whether she had eaten food or not. And after talking to her so nicely like this, Miso, who was not feeling hungry before, now suddenly starts feeling hungry. And Chin-Yi tells her that first of all you should always take care of yourself and your diet. He also tells her that when you come back I will be waiting, because the house feels so empty and lonely without you. Well, now since Miso was out of station, it so happened that in the same hotel where her mother was staying, her colleagues were also there. So one of those colleagues calls Chin-Yi and tells him. He says her mother had collapsed. We have brought her to the hospital, but we are not able to contact Miso. Chin-Yi knew that she was very tired today, so she must be resting. So he tells them not to disturb her and reaches the hospital himself. After a while, when the mother's condition comes out of danger, the doctor comes and tells them that she has stage 4 cancer, and she herself also knows about this. She was also getting some treatment done, but we feel that her condition will not remain stable for much longer. Well, now Chin-Yi sends the rest of the colleagues away and was sitting there himself to take care of the mother. Now, as her mother's past track record had been, Chin-Yi was still thinking negatively about her. He starts saying that you suddenly came here because you must need money from Miso for your treatment, or maybe you're expecting that she will sit and take care of you, which you never did for her your whole life. Now, hearing all of this, the mother becomes very sad. But all of this was exactly what she had planted throughout her whole life. After that, finally, the next next day, Miso also arrived there. She was very nervous, and whatever kind of relationship they had between them, she was still her mother after all. But this time the mother was looking quite ashamed. When they talked about arranging a caretaker for her, she would refuse. Maybe now she did not want to be a burden on them. And after that, Miso goes to the doctor. The doctor tells her that your mother does not have many chances of survival. Her treatment is very expensive, and even after getting it done, the survival rate is almost none. Actually, she had this illness for quite a long time. At first, she was getting treatment done, but after that she had stopped it. That is why this illness had started spreading to other parts of her body as well. Now, for Miso, this was a very difficult time. She had to decide whether to give up on the treatment or to continue it. And after that, Miso was sitting outside feeling very worried. She was talking to Chun-Yi, and she had made up her mind that she would not give up on her mother. Whatever happens, however it goes, she will definitely start her treatment. Now the next day, Miso takes 2 to 3 days off and comes to be with her mother. She wanted to take care of her herself and sends the caretaker away. But still the distance between the mother and Miso was not getting covered. The mother felt that Miso should work hard. Instead of wasting time on her mother, she should focus on her work. But Miso gets hurt and says, you yourself did the same thing your whole life, and you are expecting the same from me too. Her mother's condition had truly become very serious. Her wish was that she wanted to go outside at night for some fresh air, so she takes her mother out for a walk. But before that, her mother sees a patient fighting between life and death. Their condition was also quite critical. She felt that she was going to die very soon. So she starts saying that my wish is that after I die, burn a lot of joss paper for me, and she also gives her a card saying use this money for that. Although Miso used to send Chun-Yi away, still he would secretly stay sitting in the car. At night, he did the same thing again. The next morning, Miso sees that her mother is missing, so they both get worried and together try to search for her. After a lot of running around, Miso finally finds her mother in a restroom. She was applying lipstick. She was trying to make herself look beautiful. She starts saying that I do not want to die a miserable death. She says I do not want to die a miserable death on a hospital bed. I want that even while dying I should look beautiful as I was throughout my whole life. Her mother was truly very beautiful, but only outer beauty is not enough. A person's heart should be just as beautiful too. Actually, her mother had done another marriage. But later, when she got cancer and had to bear so much expense for her treatment, her husband had left her. And now in this way her end was about to come. And then, finally, her last wish gets fulfilled. She left this world looking so beautiful and well-dressed. And with this very moment, Miso starts getting a flashback of her whole life. Her mother used to go to work and would leave her behind at her cousin's house. The aunt and cousins used to treat her badly. They would also make her do work all day long and would taunt her too. And then one day her mother came and said that I am taking you with me, where we will have our own house and our own family, and that was Chun-Yi's house. That is why Miso had always been so attached to this house. Now she comes back out of the memory. Now she had some paperwork to do and the preparations for mother's funeral as well. But Miso was lucky that in this difficult time she was not alone, but her family, meaning Chun-Yi, was with her. So now Chun-Yi makes all the arrangements to move the mother's body and also calls Officer Zeo for help. After that, the hospital people call Miso. She sees her mother's body. She receives the death certificate and the body, and then after that she goes outside and cries a lot. Well, after that they arrange a simple and small funeral. Miso had never told her colleagues much about her mother, so even now she does not invite anyone. But still, at the time of the funeral, some uninvited guests arrived there, and they were the loan shark people who had found out that she had died, and they came to say that she had taken a loan from us, which we want back. Miso was feeling bad that they were ruining her mother's funeral. Those people wanted to lay hands on Miso, but Chun-Yi was there for her protection. He says, let us go outside and talk. And after that, those people also show the loan agreement, according to which the loan the mother had taken, they were now asking double the money for it. Miso was educated and she understood all of these things. She says what you people are doing is illegal. And Chun-Yi also says that I am not in the mood to fight right now. Otherwise, the tricks you have, you think of yourself as a thug. I have been an even bigger thug than you. And right there, he gets into a fight with one of those thugs. He says, will you back off, or should I call the police? And on top of that, Officer Zeo arrived. He says I am here. The police is already present. And after that, they also take the contract away and say get out of here, because she is dead and her daughter has absolutely no responsibility to pay her money. But still, Miso, for the sake of her mother's respect, says that you people will have my address, come to meet me later, and we will deal between ourselves about how much needs to be paid back. Well, Somehow the funeral had finally come to an end. And in the end, they came home with the mother's ashes. Keeping ashes at home in this way was not considered good. Miso says that this weekend we will go to Riverwood, my hometown, and there only I will build her grave. Until then, she wanted to keep the ashes somewhere else. But Chun-Yi tells her you can keep them right here until then. I do not think like the rest of the people. And after that, Chun-Yi goes and takes a few days off from Mr. Zhang for some personal work. In fact, he had to travel to another city with Miso, and when Miso goes to work, he comes to her there too. She had not eaten anything properly, so he comes with green tea for her and also brought something sweet, saying that you must be feeling down. And at the same time, we are shown that Sun had also brought tea for Miso, taking care of her, but he had fallen behind. Chun-Yi had already taken the lead ahead of him. He quietly steps back, and then on the weekend, they both go to the bus stand, and from here ahead they had to go to River Road. The ashes were kept by Miso in her bag. It was her shoulder bag, and from behind, a thief tries to steal something from inside. But when his hands touch the ashes, he screams out loud and creates a scene. He says you people are bringing bad luck onto the bus. Well, the rest of all the passengers also get scared, and then in a short while the guards come there and take that thief away. But the result of this was that after that, no passenger was ready to sit near Miso and Chun-Yi. Well, it turned out to be good because the journey was very long, and they both passed the trip very comfortably. Miso rests her head on Chun-Yi's shoulder and falls asleep. He says I was wishing that this journey would never end. And then, finally, they arrive. From here ahead, where did they have to go? Miso did not have many memories of this city either. And then they take a taxi and head straight toward the graveyard. Chun-Yi asks, you must have relatives here. Would you like to meet anyone? But she says there was one aunt, but they did not behave well with us, neither with me nor with mother, so consider that they are not our real relatives at all. Well, now finally they reach the graveyard. After placing the mother here, Miso's heart becomes very heavy. She starts saying that what should I do? Before I used to remember all of mother's mistakes and all her shortcomings, but now only the good things are coming to mind. She used to bring nice clothes for me. She also used to feed me good food for as long as she was with me. The bad memories are fading away, and only the good memories are left. But maybe after people die, that is just how it happens. After that, Miso and Chun-Yi both sit together and eat food at one place. It was a small little city, but life here was very peaceful. It was raining, and the view was looking very beautiful. Miso says, why don't we both just stay here? Build our life right here. Chun-Yi immediately says, yes, why not? She says, then what will I do here? He says, do not think that I will say I will support you. We will do this. We will open a small store. You run it in the day, and I will run it at night. Open 24/7, and at the back, we will keep a small storeroom where we will have our bed and live right there. Just such a simple little life. Miso starts laughing and says, okay, and those big dreams of yours that you used to say, that I am educating you to invest so that you get a good job in a big city. What about all of that? Chun-Yi says all that to make her laugh. How foolish I used to be back then saying such thing. Now, while leaving from there, they were passing by a shop, and a gold necklace caught Miso's eye and she really liked it. The Mid-Autumn Festival was also coming up. The sales worker there starts telling them, you should buy it for your wife. It will really suit her. Looking at you both, it seems like you are newly married and have come for a honeymoon. Chun-Yi feels really happy hearing this. That is why he does not deny it. From Miso's eyes, it was clear that she liked that necklace, but still she walks away, saying that such things I do not want to buy right now. Chun-Yi says, what can I do? All the household expenses are in my wife's hands after all. So sorry, I just follow her orders. And with this very moment, so now while roaming around, both of them reach a Ferris wheel. Here Miso asks him that a few years ago, we also took a ride like this. You were alone in another cabin with Linda, and you kissed her too. Hearing this, he is shocked. He says, so you all were thinking this. She says, tell the truth. Did that happen? She was your girlfriend. He says there is nothing like that. I could not kiss her because I did not love her at all. And after that, he tells her to close her eyes. It seemed like he would pull her close and kiss her, but in fact, he puts on her that same gold necklace that Miso had liked a little while ago, and she becomes happy just seeing it. Now after that, Chun-Yi still had his holiday, but Miso goes to work. Meanwhile, while going back, Chun-Yi receives a call. Someone was threatening him. They were saying that we will take revenge from you for Mr. Zung. And after that, Chun-yi tells Bo to keep an eye around. They check, but find nothing. But a little later, a thug who was hiding there sets fire. And Miso also receives this news. She also grabs a taxi and was rushing there. She was also remembering an incident from a few years ago, when she had found out in the same way that a building was on fire and Chun-yi was also trapped inside there. She is still rushing. Those same old memories were coming to her. That same torture was passing through her. And along with this, we are shown an old flashback. Actually, Zing had reached that building where there were documents against him. He wanted to burn the computers and records there, although he had called Zing along. But Zing was very clever. He did not come himself, but instead sent Chun-yi on his behalf. He had not told him that there was a fire to be set. He had told him that Zing needs your help. Chun-yi was just standing outside. After that, Zing goes inside. He turns off the breaker. At that very same time, he had already called Zhao, and he tells the officer to reach near that same building where your fiancé Won worked. And just then he comes to know that fire has broken out upstairs too. He gets more worried and immediately calls the fire brigade too. At that same time, we come to know that Van was inside only. She was alone. She was doing overtime. Zing was locking the doors there and running away. But Chun-yi arrives. He goes inside, sees Van unconscious, and tries to save her. But she wanted to hide a document before anything else. She says, keep it safe. And by the time Chun-yi kept that document safe, after that the fire had spread so much that both of them become unconscious. Chun-yi was brought out safe and sound. He had just inhaled gas. He was not burned. But from Van, only her dead body comes out. Zhao did not even know that she was working in the office right now. Seeing this, he breaks down. And this is how they had a tragic past. And now in the present, the same thing happened. Miso desperately wants to go inside. And this time she goes inside too. She sees that Chun-yi was sitting inside having saved a child. And due to some heavy object falling from above, his arm had got fractured. But in the end, he escapes the fire and comes out safe. His life was saved. There were just a few injuries. As soon as he comes to his senses, Miso hugs him and was crying. Meanwhile, Officer Zhao also arrives. Seeing them, he laughs and says, I don't need to ask. I can clearly see that our Chun-yi is perfectly fine. Now after that, Miso did not want to leave the hospital at all. Chun-yi was repeatedly trying to send her home so that she could get some rest. But still, every morning she would always arrive early. And moreover, once she was so scared thinking that Chun-yi had run away leaving her, but he had just gone to the washroom. Now she does this that she stands blocking even the washroom door with her foot. Because last time also when the fire happened, after that he had left her and gone. At night, she was right beside him. He tells her that you will be uncomfortable down there. Come here on my bed. She comes and after that both of them talk for a while. Miso tells him that just keep trust in me. Don't think that I will let you down. Now I have become so strong that I can get you out of this trouble. And then finally, he is discharged from the hospital. These days it was the Mid-Autumn Festival. And for this, Chun-yi had given a good news to Miso. He had quit smoking. He says that since you came back home, I have not smoked at all. Now both of them together make wishes. And after that they also wash dishes together. Miso was repeatedly asking one question that what wish did you make? But he was not telling at all. He changes the topic. Says your earrings are suiting you very much. She says if you tell me your wish then I will kiss you in return. He says I had wished this that wherever we are, we both stay together. And just after that their romantic scene starts. In the next scene, when both of them were in the room, Miso had noticed that there were many injury marks on Chun-yi's body. She asks and he tells that Zeng had found out. And then as a punishment, he had kept me imprisoned for a long time. And right there, tied up, he was tortured a lot. All these were marks of those same old injuries. Poor Chun-yi had endured so much. He says, but now there is no pain. Yes, but this frustration used to bother me a lot that I could not even say a proper goodbye to you. Well, now both of them had become a happy couple. They were in a relationship and did many things together. In the morning, such as going for jogging, Miso repeatedly asks him about the old case. Chun-yi tells that there is still a secret investigation going on, but at that time it had been closed by calling it an accident. But the reason was that there was no solid evidence. The day it is found, this case will be reopened, and Won will surely get justice. It is shown that Chun-yi was still at his post. He and Miso both planned together. And with Chun-yi's permission, Miso accesses some such documents through which she was getting some evidence. And she keeps a copy of this record with herself. After that, she goes to Sun, and both of them discuss the same thing. There was definitely something wrong in Hao Yen Company's record. To show on the surface, they had completely cleared the banking record. Even if their company shows losses, it does not matter to them at all. But it was clearly visible that they just want to clear everything somehow. But if there are such activities, how are they actually running the business? They had been investigating for many days, and they had come to know that actually Mr. Zeng does the courier work only on the surface. But in fact, he earns real money from the smuggling work. He was sending goods to such a country, and it was such goods that were banned from being exported. And despite the ban, he would send those goods outside. And through that, he would earn a lot of illegal money. But this company they were running only as a cover. Real money they were making from other work. So all those people together get busy in obtaining this very evidence. Chin-ee would often go to the factory and would talk with the driver. He would try to get close to them. And here one driver had been sick these days. There he sees a strange thing in his belongings. A stuffed toy. And from here he becomes suspicious. Those people had taken that driver to the hospital. And from there they had come to know that actually he already had some other diseases. And after that for some time he had been in contact with some dangerous substance. Due to this reason his body was giving this kind of reaction. This was not good at all for his health. The doctor had told these things. And from this only, Chin-ee had become suspicious. Now all three of them together open that stuffed toy. Then it comes out that inside it was a metal which was germanium. And this was such an element that there was a ban on exporting it out of the country. And this is exactly what Zeng used to do. Even small quantities of it would earn him a lot of money. But the way they had found it, it was illegally obtained. And there was no record of it. That is why they cannot run the case. Well, still they had not lost courage. And they were planning ahead. Chin-ee felt there was danger. He would repeatedly tell Miso that leave all this to me. And don't think too much about this. But she also wanted to take a full part in doing this work. At night, Miso forcefully comes again to Chin-ee's room to sleep. He tells her, "You have come after thinking carefully, right?" And after that he comes close to her. Miso had become shy, but actually he had come to turn off the light. Now after that, while doing a search, Officer Zhao finds a truck driver. He had done something wrong, so they arrest him to take a further statement from him. And right here in the police station, as soon as he sees Chin-ee, he recognizes him. He says that you had betrayed Zeng, and Zeng had stabbed Zeng in the back. You were with him only. Well, all this keeps happening. From this it was becoming clear that perhaps Zeng had a hand in getting Zeng killed. Now it was a case of his company, so Zeng also comes to the police station. And after that he was taking Chin-ee and Miso along. Here while going, he praises Officer Zhao, says he is a very good person. He is a capable officer. I feel very sorry that his fiancée died by burning so many years ago. Saying all this, he was giving a hidden threat to Miso and Chin-ee's relationship. Now after that, for a while, they also play billiards with Mr. Zeng. Here in conversation, he mentions some secrets of Chin. Hearing this, Miso gets angry that Chin, "Why did you not tell me this before?" She leaves angrily. Zeng thinks that he can succeed in creating a rift between them. But in fact, we are shown that both were one from inside. They had deliberately acted. On the other hand, Zeng had come down to his tricks. He had also put a tracker on Sun's car. Wherever he goes, there will be an eye on him. And along with that, he was also trying to scare the auditing team and the other auditors too. Although Mr. Zeng was quite angry at Officer Zhao, because last time at the police station when he had seen him, Mr. Zhao had not even shaken hands with him. That is why he was feeling insulted. But still Zeng did not want to take any reckless step now, because he knew he had already come under the police's watch. Now once he was also doing his skincare and was having some conversation with his business partner. That in the meantime, Tao comes to him and gives good news. Says the audit team has given up on our company. They want to leave, dropping the audit. Zeng becomes happy. He had thought that I have scared them well. And he starts saying, "Good thing. Now for the next team, we will search and find one beforehand who will make a report of our choice and our liking." But the audit team was still in their city only. And before they're leaving, there was an official dinner of Hao Yen Company too. In this, Sun was also invited. Miso and Chin-ee arrived there together. Here Mr. Zeng welcomes everyone very warmly. He gives a little speech about his company. And after that he says that there are only 3 pillars who are working with me who are the most important. And Chin-ee was also one of them. He gives medals to all of them and lets the other 2 go. But he holds Chin-ee back. He says that when I had started my logistics work, it is this Chin-ee who had helped me expand abroad. He had gone to Jingu country. Going there, he got stuck. And only after facing many local gangsters there, he brought my company to the position where it stands today. When he came back from there were injury marks all over his body. Seeing this, even today my heart breaks. And he is not just an employee for me, but my family. That is why he announces to transfer his 5% equity also in Chin-ee's name. They were also watching Miso's face. These were the same secrets that Chin-ee had kept hidden from Miso for so many years. Now he reaches every table. When he came near Miso, she was talking speaking nicely with Mr. Zing, but was taunting Chin-yi because she was feeling bad that he had kept secret. And this is exactly what Mr. Zing wanted, that a rift would fall between these two. He becomes very happy. He knew that the next day the audit team had to go back. And when Miso leaves, she says bye to Mr. Zing, but not to Chin-yi. Seeing this, he appeared quite happy, but he did not know that these two had secretly said bye to each other. The next day, Sun comes, and he orders the audit team to wrap up everything and go back to High City. But Miso had stayed here for one more day. She goes to that same driver who had been working in their company for many years and also knew many old secrets of the audit. He tells that when the company had started, it was in losses. And then just a little while after that, when Zay went missing, a lot of funds got transferred into this company. And seeing its capital only, some companies had made more investment. That man was in fact loyal to Zing, and he knew all these secrets. But he felt that Zhang and Zing's money was not divided between them. By removing Zing from the path, Zing had kept all this money himself. And after that did not even take care of his people. Now this was that one missing piece that Miso had been trying to find for a long time. Finally, she had got the clue. Now after that, Miso does not go home. Chin-yi does not come to the hotel to see her because Zing had kept an eye. But Zing did not know that Chin-yi was packing her belongings with his own hands, and somehow manages to deliver it to her himself too. Now when Zing sees Chin-yi a little sad, he starts giving him advice. Get married, but marry a girl who does not use too much brain and does not ask too many questions. There will be peace in your life. The next day, Miso goes to the airport. She was going to Haiching. Zeng also watches her going. He makes sure that there was no connection between these two. But in fact, Chin-yi had arrived at the airport in disguise, and he himself says goodbye to his girlfriend, but for a new beginning. And they promise that the next time they meet, there will be no dark shadow like Zing in their life at all. Miso had not taken her direct flight, but had taken the one with a layover, and that too according to a plan. She had gone to a city where there was a small restaurant shop, and right here she had seen such a thing, such a clue, that the person was there whom everyone considered missing. Zing had scars on his face too, and he was living a quiet life there, and I think it is Zing who can help them in bringing Zing to his end. On the other hand, we are shown that the audit team has to face a lot after going back. How can they come back giving up the project? But they explain that we were in danger and our one partner is still there who is working. And then Miso arrives right on time, and she shows some such evidence that she had just gathered. And these were the very evidence through which they could prove their audit and their work to be right. And what they had not found before, now they had succeeded in obtaining it. Now Sun and Miso meet together. Everything had become clear. Sun tells her, we both are so compatible, aren't we? In work, we are exactly like-minded soul. Then why not me? And why did you choose Chen? She starts saying that being too compatible is also not good. If both are alike, they will become selfish. That is why in our personal life we need a person whose habits are different from ours, and whom we care for and who cares for us. That is why we both can only be good partners at work. Well, now Miso was in her big city and was living her life peacefully. On the other hand, Chin-yi was also in this small city, remembering her, but both of them were not in contact. Meanwhile, Officer Zhao had received many reports. Gathering all these things, they form a very big team, and were preparing tonight for a grand operation. And this was to catch Zhang's new smuggling and his route. Shaji had also reached that place to handle all this according to Zhang's orders, from where his new route was to start. Zhang wanted that just like Jingu, on this route too, Xingji would clear everything for him. But Xingji was clearing everything not for him, but for Officer Zhao. He had secretly placed a device, and the other device, they would get everyone's turned off. That is why looking at Chin-yi, it seemed like he was not in contact with anyone. Chin-yi had made a promise to meet Miso. When he does not arrive, she reaches. She sees that he is not at home either. This means he has fallen into some danger. She goes rushing to Officer Zhao and says that I also want to help you all in Zhang's matter. He says there is danger, sit quietly. But she says that behind everything are his traces only. The fraud of my mother's company, money obtained from people through scam, Wan's death, and after that our lives becoming hell. Everywhere, on every bad place, on every bad memory, there are only Zhang's footprint, and I will not forgive him. In the next scene, we see that Mr. Zhang's very big order was going on a new route, and this delivery was very important for him. That is why Tao was also looking very nervous and was getting angry over small things. But as we know, Chin-ee had already informed the police about everything. The police were also fully ready. But at the last moment, what happens is that Mr. Zing himself reaches there, and he tells Chin-ee that you are going to check this delivery. I will also go with you. And then he also takes his phone from him. Now when they were going, he gives him quite a long lecture on the way. He tells him about his background, that how I used to be very poor. But then I started seeing big dreams in life. And at the same time, he also tempts Chin-ee that I see something in you that is not in others. You stay ambitious and keep working with me. You will see. You will go even further than me. And in between, he also remembers his friend Zai. He thinks that who knows where he must be, but he knew this much for sure that he had trapped his friend. And now he was living underground, living a hidden life. Well, now as soon as they move ahead, it is found out that ahead the police have set up a checkpoint. They were stopping all the vehicles and checking them. Ahead of them was Tao's vehicle. He informs Zing that ahead he has also seen Officer Zhao. Hearing this, he gets scared and starts saying then work on plan B. Tao reaches ahead with his vehicle. He does something wrong and gets arrested by the police. And right here was the moment that Zeng had turned his vehicle around. And in between he was very angry at Chin-ee. He says you have betrayed me. He had also taken out a knife and tells him, whatever I say, you have to follow. Now he had already wounded him, and right here Miso was also waiting on the way that somehow she can recognize the route on which Chin-ee is going to go, and her eyes fall on Chin-ee. Right there where the roadblock was set up. What she does is that she starts chasing Zing's vehicle. Now Zing gets even more angry. As soon as Miso's vehicle comes to the side, he turns the steering and causes Miso's vehicle to crash, and then her vehicle had flipped over and was damaged. But Miso had not given up. First of all, she tells Officer Zhao that Zing's vehicle has been seen on which side. They should seal all the areas around it. And along with this, another plan had come into her clever mind. She had immediately called Zai. She had told Zai that if you know Zing very well for many years, then what do you think? At this time, at which point will he hide? You also have a chance. If you want to settle your score then. Zai was craving for just such a moment. He immediately picks up his bag, says goodbye to his wife that I am going to meet a friend. A very old friend. Some accounts need to be settled. And he leaves. In the next scene, now the same happens as Zai had predicted. Zing takes him very far to an abandoned factory. This was his hiding point which Zai knew very well. Here as soon as he reaches inside, he had tied Chin-ee and was dragging him in an injured condition. At this same time, old memories start coming to Chin-ee. He had reported the matter of setting fire to the police. That is why Zai was already present at his house when he had returned. This was a very many years old matter. He was threatening him. He was saying that I will not spare your sweetheart. You love her so much, right? You consider her your family. If you want her safety, then come to my side. And give me those files which one had given you to hide. And this was the very reason that he felt that Miso, at this time, when she has got admission in the country's biggest university, she should not leave all this and stay with me in Tank City, because she will never be safe. That is why he had behaved very badly and had sent Miso away from there. But after that, as soon as he had returned home from the airport, Zing had attacked him, had made him unconscious, and had taken him with him to Jingu country. He was doing a kind of human trafficking. There he would make him fight wars with his gang and would earn money from him. After fighting the battle of life and death, he was able to return to his city only after many years. Even then he used to get the same feeling. He felt that he would not survive and would drown in these same darknesses. Even today, he was feeling something like this. Zing mocks him. He picks up that same amulet from his vehicle and throws it on him, the one that Miso had once given him so that he always stays safe. Now Zing mocks him and was torturing him. He asks, in what way would you like to die? If there is any last wish, then tell me. And then just as he was about to finish him with a knife, at that very moment Miso arrives there. She saves him from the last blow. Miso would not be able to resist for long. That was well known. But once she had saved Chin-ee's life, Zing hits her too, and then Chin-ee somehow frees his hands and tries to save Miso. But by then Zing had reached a high point, and he hangs Miso down from the bridge. Chin-ee holds her rope. This was the very moment when he could not catch Zing and could not move from there, leaving Miso. That in the meantime the police also arrived. Zing knew the way to escape. He was just about to leave when someone delivers a deadly blow on him, and that was his old friend Zai. That same Zai in whose back Zing had stabbed a knife so many years ago, and inside Zai the fire of revenge had been burning for so many years. He was hiding like a rat, while Zing had become a billionaire and was running his business with so much pride and luxury in front of everyone. Now Zai settles all his revenge with him, but at the last moment when he was just about to kill him, the police arrived. Zing's very wish was that Zai should kill me so that I don't have to spend my whole life in jail, but he chooses the other option. he lets him go. Now the police catch them. Miso and Chin-E were also injured, but thank God they were safe, and when they were being put in the ambulance, both of them were smiling and looking at each other. Now finally, a new chapter of their life will start in which there is going to be no darkness. After that, now we are shown a scene a few months later. Chin-E and Miso were very happy because today is the day when the verdict of their case is to come in court. When they go to court, the verdict that the judge announces is that both Xing and Zai had been given life imprisonment, and the murder of one was now being avenged from Zai. Finally, everyone becomes happy. Officer Zao also gets a very cool breath of relief. He goes to Wen's memorial. He was very happy. He says that today your soul will be at peace. You waited for so many years. But finally, the law took its course and justice was served to him. Miso had decided that she is going to Haicheng City where she does her job. Now, as Chin-E had promised her, he was also going with her. Before leaving, they close everything of theirs from this city and were preparing for a farewell dinner together with all their friends. Tuli had also come here and along with Bo. Here all those people were very happy that finally Miso and Chin-E's life is now moving towards peace and normal. There was sadness too because they are leaving this city. But of course this was very necessary for Miso's future. While over there, Officer Zao, he did not feel like living in that house before, where he had dreamed of living with Wen. But when now justice had been achieved for him, he finally shifts into that same house. While Chin-E and Miso both had now reached Haicheng City, and Ding, who had left the job before, comes back. As soon as he comes, he had no information about what is going on with everyone. He was making fun of Miso, but he did not know that the fun he was making was of his soon-to-be boss. In the meantime, Miso packs her stuff and says check the notification. It must have come on email that from now on I am your new manager, and he just keeps worrying about who he has annoyed. Now Miso was giving everyone a very good treat in the happiness of her promotion, and right here she gets a call from Chin-E. She says if you are nearby then join us, and as soon as he arrives, everyone is left surprised seeing him. They had no idea that who they were considering family was actually Miso's soon-to-be husband. Miso and Chin-E, wherever they used to sit, whether colleagues or friends, everyone used to ask them the same thing, that when are you planning to get married? And on this matter they never used to give anyone any answer. It just seemed that there was no need for anything in their life. They were completely, fully satisfied and very happy. Once Chin-E tells that when I had come back from Jingu country, I had come to Haicheng to see you. You were studying in your university at that time. You were playing badminton and were looking very happy. At that time when I looked at myself, I was full of wound, a person who had come out of darkness and had no future. That is why I did not have the courage to meet your eyes, to meet you, because I did not want to cast the shadow of my darkness on you. Miso hears this and says, now forget the old memories. The bad time has passed and ahead is our bright future. After that, once Chin-E had gone to meet his friend, they were also saying that when are you going to propose to her? Chin-E used to give no answer to this. They had no idea that the relationship of Chin-E and Miso was far above all these things. Now both of them sit together. They used to eat food together, watch movies, enjoy. Now once they watch that same movie again, and watching this time he did not look nervous at all. They remember the old time, that last time those people were acting like everything is very normal, but the romantic scene could not be watched by them. Now Miso starts saying, first I had thought that I would take you to a very beautiful and romantic place and propose there, but these things do not matter to me. She tells Chin-E that now you have come into my life, so promise me that you will become my home, a place where I always want to come back to. Now hearing this, Chin-E kisses her, and after that they remember that day, that how from childhood till now they had always faced the hardships of their life together. And finally both of them had become one, and this story has a happy ending.